Test, 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 test. Hello, hello. Looks like the stream is coming through okay. Let me just double check. Nice, okay. We're actually in the game, hearing the game audio. I think so, yep, okay. Excellent. We'll get started in just a second here. Hello, Saria. How's it going? Oh, you're at 1K? Damn. The grind is paying off. Well done, well done. Congratulations. Hope you're doing well. Hope your week is going well. I'm gonna tab out for 1 second because I want to fix this chat issue. Yeah, this, Oh, I see the problem. 1 second. Okay, that should do it. Make sure I'm using live chat, not just chop chat, so that I actually see what you guys are saying. Okay. Yes, the ever-coveted triple dab. I'd say you've earned that too. Yeah, hope you're doing well. How's your week going? What's new on your end? Let's see. So, we're going to get started in just a second over here. I am looking forward to seeing what will come next. We had a really excellent stream last time. I really enjoyed everything that the game kind of threw at us. I'm just now noticing that there's there's two of the Gestrel that have like a kind of less intense or less prominent point to the tip. Oh no, actually, oh, that was just a bit of a rendering work. It looks flat from the top, but you can actually see it nice and protruding, so to speak, from the bottom. So yeah, in a second here I'll do an intro. I'm just gonna take a quick second to get my bearings. Go.
Get out my way!
Le mot de passe c'est dégage de là. Typique
Dégage
du
de là.
Gestral.
Esquinesto tesokiman villaggio. Suniso.
Uniso.
Rico passpordito coranisu.
Interesting.
Aussi fort que possible. Figé.
Merci pour tout.
Io
Nice.
cano biboture.
Toute cette positivité, ça fait chaud au cœur.
Gestral positivity is so heartwarming.
Quella fosse.
We've opened the back door for you. It'll be easier to come back and visit us. Oh, I'm glad I stopped to talk with them.
Merci, chef.
Thanks, if. Yeah, okay. I feel like we should probably try this. Duel, do you have a death wish? Well, of course I'm gonna go for Mael, who's still leading the pack. I guess before I get started with this, let me just say hello to everybody. Hello, I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the stream. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am a... Sorry, my name is... I'm clearly very excited to get into the game today. My name is John. I'm a game developer. I've been working in the industry for about 10 years now. I've worked on small indie games as well as larger titles, and I'm very inspired by games like Clair Obscur and Dark Souls that have really strong and consistent direction and do great storytelling throughout all aspects of the game, from audio to their character design to animations. This game was recommended by Saria, and I'm very grateful for the recommendation, actually, because I have been absolutely loving what I've been seeing so far. And my goal with the stream, in addition to just having fun and exploring the game, is to try to notice the sorts of things that the game developers are doing to really try to bring their world to life. And for instance, you know, one thing that I'm noticing here is that there's just a little bit of red paint on the arms and on the hands of this particular character, and also looking at how big and well-defined the joints are, of course, to kind of convey the character's muscular frame. But also there's a bit of a little bit of how would you say, like, delicate details in the craftsmanship as well. That is kind of an ongoing theme that I've found throughout the game, is that there are very bold choices and very kind of in-your-face, loud in a positive way, aesthetic decisions. But then there's also a lot of like tenderness and gentleness and care to the fine details. So stuff like that. If you have any game development questions, please feel free to let me know. Obviously, you know, I'm only going to be able to talk directly about my own experiences, but I'll try to, you know, speculate in a positive way about things, you know, challenges that game developers face, and what I think these developers might have tried to do in certain situations, why they made certain decisions, etc. So there will be some critique here, I guess, but it'll be mostly just focused on sort of appreciating the game's artistry and trying to understand what's kind of going on under the hood, so to speak. Hey Darth Magog, it's good to see you. How you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the stream. I actually just finished watching another one of your videos. It was the I think shit, I'm so bad at recalling the titles, but I think it was an analysis that you did with the character who was in the like the commander garb, and you guys were talking about a film that had like messaging towards children or whatnot. Very eye-opening stuff, very shocking in terms of the content they were actually delivering in those videos, but also you know, your routine, so to speak, the engagement with the with your compatriot there was really well done, really enjoyable. So I'll be keeping an eye on the channel, or like going through the channel and listening to more of your stuff in the coming weeks. I know that you're still on hiatus, right? I think I saw a video that said you were taking a break, which totally respect that. I'm glad that you're making choices that are good for your brain and schedule and sanity and stuff like that. But yeah, just wanted to shout out that video that I saw. My partner works as a she works with kids, child psychiatrist, or she's a psychiatrist specifically, and then she works with kids. And so I might show her some of the video to kind of get her reaction as well. I'm sure she'd find your commentary really interesting. Yeah. Oh, I see a message from Saria. Sorry. This is the thing I was telling you about, where it's really good for Mael if you can win, but this fight is really hard right now. Okay, I'll give it a couple tries. I don't want to get bogged down and have the whole stream be me losing to Golgra, but I am morbidly curious to see what happens. And if I don't pull it off in the first few tries, we'll get resume with the adventure so we can see more of the world. But I'm excited to see what comes up. And then Darth Magog says, "Oh yeah, the Caleb and Sophia videos. That's right. That's my first officer commander 5s. Nice. Yeah, I appreciate the I don't know what the word is for it, but like the atmosphere that you guys create with the uniforms and all that. Really awesome. Sorry for the background noise. Just getting a seltzer here. Okay. Are they do you know if they're still like churning out those videos? Or have they I'm naively hoping that maybe things have kind of cooled down a little bit, so to speak, in terms of companies like that putting out their videos. A little while ago I was sort of morbidly obsessed with people kind of picking apart and debunking PragerU videos. Those are hard to stomach too, especially the ones aimed at kids. They're challenging. I think Professor Dave Explains had some videos addressing their content, and it was like, okay, it's a lot. Anyway, the music is always so on point. Okay. Holy shit, you weren't kidding. Darth Magog says they make 4 or 5 a year, sadly. That is really sad. I'm sorry to hear that. The witnesses won't quit. Well, yeah, I'm kind of I'm not surprised that they have like an agenda that they're still adherent to. I'm guessing it's one of those things where it's like very entrenched and also probably very profitable for the people in the right who position themselves, quote unquote, well. I hesitate to say well because it's not a good thing, right? But yeah. I love the way she just levitates towards you like that. That is so cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably not going to succeed at this right now. But this is the thing that's really interesting about this particular combat system, is that sometimes everything feels impossible unless you get parries, and it feels like completely trivial. Damn it. Well, I guess you can guess which one that was. Okay, just 26 more tries. 26 more tries, and then I'll get on with the adventure. No. I want to give it a few more tries to see if I can pull off the parries, but I'm guessing we're going to be getting on pretty soon. Yeah, the one tap, yeah. Critical. Okay, there's that. Oh my god, it's so fast. Okay. Stop laughing at my pain, Saria. No, it's cool. Imaguba, yeah, Imaguba yourself, motherfucker. Okay. I'm definitely not going to be able to do this. I'm doing it out of morbid curiosity at this point, but yeah, like, every hit is a one-hit kill, so... And that did no fucking damage, oh my god. Yeah, okay, no, I'm not doing this right now. Taken out by the childbearing hips, yeah, exactly. I mean, I am genuinely curious to know diegetically, like, in the lore, if, these little guys over here are actually, what's the name for it? Like, if they're actually getting stronger by doing this, or if they're actually more just kind of mimicking the motions that a human would do. But, I mean, like, she seems constructed for battle very specifically, so I wonder, it seems like they were kind of getting at the narrative that these characters will modify themselves over time, and kind of like exchange parts and stuff like that, which is a really cool idea. And then they have that sort of cycle of reproduction, and they seem to, or regeneration, they seem to retain their consciousness across cycles potentially. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on with this kind of race of creatures. Very, very cool stuff. I guess I still haven't figured out how to get this guy up, but maybe I will need to come back with an item later. And, well, I know we're going to wind up coming back because there's still some structures that are blocking off our entrance to certain places, so that's good. I do like the fact that they're leaving us some kind of breadcrumbs, so to speak, for reasons to come back later. Interesting. Hang on one second. So, I don't know if this matters at all, but it is interesting that CL has a rather prominent ribbon. I know it seems like a tiny detail, but ribbons or like sashes or whatnot are, I think, significant design elements, right? They all have the Expedition 33 ribbon on their left arm, right? And it seems like a small detail, but having a physics-enabled object like that can add so much like flair and motion to your character, just make them feel like more present and grounded in the world. And it also gives you the opportunity, like if you have a wind, I don't know if they have a wind system or anything like that, but if you do, like it just kind of helps make things feel more organic, if that makes sense. So let's see, Gustav has the one ribbon on his left and then the little dangling light charm. Lune has the one on the left, and then she has her hair bob. And then she has just that one. Yeah, I'm probably overthinking it, honestly, but it's just a pretty striking thing. Like, she's got actually has a sash around her middle that kind of goes down to the left, and then the one around her arm, and then the one around her head. So it's almost like flowing, trailing elements are just a stronger part of her overall design language. Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't notice that before. Look at all the individual like braids and cords that are on her arm there as well. Obviously, the scar on her midsection is really intriguing, and her tattoos as well. But yeah, that's really cool. They really have done a great job of finding a way to differentiate each individual character in subtle ways, such that they all feel like they have uniforms, right? They feel like they're the same part of the almost military adjacent organization. Like, there's some discipline, there's some consistency, so to speak, in their attire. But then also, like, there's a whole lot of, that's a little weird, there's a whole lot of like very expressive, very unique feeling elements in there as well. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Let me catch up on Chad a little bit. She seems built different. John the Maven, after seeing Mael smacked in the head 6 times. It's true. And each of those times, like, basically deleting my health bar. Whereas, like, my most perfect chain of immaculately executed parries after that just, like, did absolutely fuck all. My friend. I'd rather die than come back to the village. Oh yeah, we talked about that before. Cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna find my way out and proceed towards the next area. I think we basically explored everything here. I'm still dying to know what that thing is. It's very striking. I wonder if we'll get a chance to get up closer to it. Darth Magog says, yes, this looks Elden Ring as fuck. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Something that I would recommend to anybody checking out the stream would be to go to, I think the channel is called Hawkshaw, Hawkshaw on YouTube, and they have a video on Elden Ring called like it's about like Elden Ring's color theory, and basically they go through the whole game and they point out how color and prominent bold colors specifically are used to signify and identify not just different levels and areas and themes like that, but also different concepts, like different forms of death have different colors associated with them. Different I don't know, like of course a region of the map that's associated with magic will tend to have like a blue or a turquoise look, whereas one that's associated with rot will be like the more sort of fleshy mucilage tinted tones of like a corpse pile or whatnot. But at the same time, there's a whole lot more to it than that, and I feel like this game is a spiritual has a spiritual connection with that kind of design philosophy, if that makes any sense. So let me go through and do some quick upgrades. I don't want to spend too much time micromanaging while I'm in stream, because I don't want to just have the stream be about that, but I do obviously want to keep going here, trying to find... Oh my god, okay. She starts with 0 across the board, wow. So that's a really interesting and bold choice. Almost always in RPGs you have a character who comes with a certain archetype and they're already built a certain way, but they're giving us a complete blank slate with her, which is interesting because I still don't know what kind of character she's going to be like in combat. So I'm going to probably go for a relatively even across the board build and scale towards the same things I have been for the other characters. This seems reasonable. Good thing we have the recodes. But yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like there's an argument to be made. Wait, hang on a second. Can I only have 3 party members? I just saw the 3 flags. Oh, Ciel is back in camp. Huh. I see. I think I might have noticed that last time too. Okay, this is interesting. Well, I don't want to have only 3. I wonder if I take one out of my party, will the other one be... Yes, they're all still showing up as like conversational participants. Okay, so I think honestly Gustav so far is like the least useful in combat. He can, I mean, his break ability is great, but that's the only one that for me is like really, like I'm always waiting for that to show up, and then he's not doing all that much else during the downtime. So for now I'm going to take him out and put in Ciel to try to see what she's capable of. I also just really like her weapon. I'm probably not going to be able to fully grasp all the different like mechanics that she has, but still, let's get her some... Oh my god, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to spend that much time here. Let's just get her some basic stuff. Apply powerful for 3 turns when revived. Gain powerful fighting alone. We're not really using those anymore. Increased break damage, sure, that sounds great. Let's see. Critical moment. Increased critical chance. Okay, that sounds great as well, and I don't think I've mastered those either. And these are new ones, right? Recover 25% health. Oh, wait. On hitting a mark? Okay. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Ascending and descending. I wonder if I can... alphabetical equipped favorites. I wish I could sort them by, like, mastered versus unmastered. But, okay. Let's just keep them by level. And I will... It looks like these aren't mastered yet, I think, because they're grayed out, right? So if that's the case, let me do roulette. Every hit has a 50% chance to deal either. Yeah, okay. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, great. And I'm going to switch my L out a little bit because, yeah, she's just using the if fighting alone stuff. So, powerful revive, apply powerful, probably not going to be revived. Solo fighter, breaker, critical moment, healing mark. Yep, let's try that. Let's try burning mark. Let's try... Ooh, attack lifesteal. That's got to be great. Yeah, 15% health on base attack. I love that shit. Okay. I've always really loved a health steal, like vampire style mechanics in game. I'm not sure why, what that says about me. But yeah. So we'll see. I think she got a new weapon recently, right? But it's actually this one. Okay. And then as for her, so Sekarum, virtuous stance on breaking any shield. That's pretty good. Medallion start. Oh, start in virtual stance. Yes. Okay. Oh my god, look at that thing. It looks fucking awesome. How long have I had that? I will say I do get quite a few things. The game tends to throw a lot of stuff at you in big bursts, so it can feel a little bit overwhelming. But we'll see where this goes. I'm very excited. Do I still have skills? I thought I learned them all. Okay, here we go. So this is the last bit of housekeeping, and then we'll get started with the adventure proper. So we still have this. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, he doesn't have anything else he can unlock right now. Let's see. You are still saving up Mael, so that's fine. Okay. I should have done this off stream. Let me just do this quickly. Deals medium single target damage, 1 hit, heals self by 40% health, consumes all foretell to increase. Okay, that's cool. Yep, that seems useful. Let's see. Twilight Slash. Yep, we already got that last time, I believe. What's going on over here? Plays Rush. Oh, yeah, that's great. Cool. Medium single target damage, critical hits. Just want consistent damage. Medium single target damage for 2 hits applies mark to the target. Yep, lots of people are benefiting from marks, I think. Low dark damage to all enemies. Yep, having a nice AoE ability seems like it would be helpful. Medium single target damage, 2 hits, uses weapons element. And delay target's turn. That's cool. Okay, just go with that for now. See how that works out. I can always use a foretell or a recolor later. And I think we're good to go. Thanks for your patience as I'm sort of getting myself organized here. Appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, they can change. She's got like a little paunch too. It's really cute. Your old physique to fight. In my last life, I was all muscle, but now I'm only 14 hours old and I have to build myself up all over again so I can prove myself in the arena. I love how the that response line was just, what the fuck is this guy even saying? It's great. There's so much character and personality and charm to everything in this game. So yeah, we mentioned last time, or like a couple of streams ago, that the game also does a really good job of kind of directing your attention and creating visual interest. I won't go through everything, like the whole entire thing again, but like it's great that they kind of spawn you here in access of the sort of warm, inviting bonfire that kind of brings you closer. You're naturally kind of drawn in here, but as you're drawn in here, they also place like a reflective surface over there and a point light over there to entice you to check out other areas. And they're basically like trying to signpost and draw your attention to places without literally putting big obvious shitty red blinking neon lights or whatever over different spots. Doing that without breaking immersion can be really tricky. Like talking to an arbitrary pool of players from different backgrounds, different demographics, different age groups and stuff like that, different attention spans, and trying to communicate to them equally effectively and get them to be interested in what you want them to be interested in is really hard. And I think they've done a really great job at doing so by simply using soft lighting that contrasts with the color of the background. A very, very simple, art principle, I suppose, but something that they're doing very effectively. And they're also like creating interest and intrigue without being too obvious and like forcing you down a specific path. In fact, I don't think I've actually been over here. I wonder if this opened up recently. Looks like it might have. What does it say? Cargaison journalier. Not sure what that means, but yeah, let's explore. Yeah, doing a really good job of oh wow, the blue flowers kind of snuck up on me. They look so pretty. They're so nicely contrasted with whatever the stone is. So this is actually great. It's a great idea to bring some of this into camp, because up to this point we've seen some of these stones or some of this structure in various places, like obstructing our path, but it's not been quite explained what it's for. And I think it's the sort of thing that many players, including myself, could potentially just overlook or miss. So the fact that we have it here, even if it's never, nothing's ever mentioned about it, even if nothing's ever said about it, it's just kind of bringing it to the forefront and like serving as a gentle reminder that like, hey, you should pay attention to this stuff. I also love this subtle detail of not only relying on these big like floating lamps, but the candles over here, the candles also to me feel a little bit more deliberately placed, whereas these things could just be, you know, kind of suspended in midair from a previous expedition. These look more recent. These feel more alive. So that's, you know, again, a subtle thing, but kind of gesturing towards the state of the level in the world. Let's talk to our friend over here. Terrifying looking gentleman. So let's see. Let's start by doing resources. So we actually do have, we have plenty of Lumina points. I think I'm probably going to want to just keep upgrading my L for the most part. But let's get CL up to 20 and 30, and then yeah, here to 40. I think that looks good for now. Just kind of keep going across the board like that. Seems fair. And let's upgrade the energy tint. Nice, okay. It's nice and straightforward. I do kind of wish that there was a little bit more of a dramatic thing. It's such a small thing, but one of the other things that we upgraded recently, we pressed and held the X button, and while doing so, you can kind of feel like the controller vibrating and rumbling as the like progress bar builds up, and it feels like you're really channeling energy through the controller into your character. It's a very powerful thing, even if it only lasts a second, because the developers are like engaging with the tactile experience of the game, which is something that I think it's easy to just kind of overlook that and be like, okay, well, yeah, the controller is going to rumble, obviously, and it'll rumble when something big happens on screen, but it's an entirely it's like the only dimension of the game that you're directly touching. In a way, it's more of a direct connection between you and the game than the visuals and the sound from a certain perspective. Now that we have access to like haptics and powerful tools to design haptic experiences for people, I think that we're going to see game developers really explore that as a means of interaction and feedback. In fact, one of my favorite games, Returnal, is basically a masterclass in how to use haptics to feedback game states and information to the player. They actually use the haptic feedback to drive motors inside the controller like a physical synthesizer, and they create sound effects that you can only make with those motors that are coming from the controller. It's really, really cool. They've done some really cool stuff with that game, and I don't think any other studio has quite lived up to it so far. Just catching up on chat. Sorry, as Epona says, he's so small and chunky. He is quite charming. The was that Noko? Is that his name? The characters overall have a lot of like charm, and they're just very lovable. Darth Magog says, since we're talking about design, how do you feel about sprawling open worlds in games? So, in a way, I think that most adventure style games, or how can I say? If I think back to like a lot of the RPGs that I played when I was a kid growing up, what I really always wanted to have access to be able to spend more time in the world and see more of the world and have the world feel even more lived in, if that makes sense. So I want to go everywhere, I want to see everything, and I want to be able to really feel like a citizen of the world for a little while. And in a way, I feel like most game devs would like, who are like creating fantasy worlds at least, would love for their worlds to feel that way, to feel real, to feel like actual places, in a sense that they're inviting you into. The problem with that is one of scope, and I think that it's very, very difficult to make any game at all, but it's very, very difficult to make a full sprawling open world game that has that level of breadth and also maintain any kind of reasonable amount of depth to it. You know, you might have heard the expression, as broad as an ocean, as deep as a puddle. And unfortunately, you know, given the limited time and resources, that's usually what happens. If you go broad, you don't get a whole lot of depth. The Witcher is a great example, right? The Witcher 3 compared to Skyrim has only a fraction of the level of interactivity and freedom of exploration and openness and sprawlingness than Skyrim does, but the level of like narrative focus and depth of character development, and I think even attention to detail in some of the finer aspects of the game's world, you could argue is much more impressive. I mean, it's debatable, right? Because Skyrim also has like so many books that are fully written. I think there's like 100,000, 200,000 words worth of in-game lore that are written into the diegetic books that you can pick up and read through. And there are lots of quest lines. There's lots of interesting character stuff, but each of them to me felt relatively shallow. And compared to a certain quest in The Witcher where you'll get like a side quest to go check on to like go deliver a letter to someone, but then they won't be there and it'll turn out their house was ransacked, and then if you look at the claw marks on the wall, it turns out that there's a werewolf and you can help the Order of the Flaming Rose kill the werewolf, except wait, one of the members of the Flaming Rose is a werewolf too and they're in love, and do you help them or not? And it just like keeps on going, and like you learn more about Geralt the entire time, etc., etc. So I love the feeling, like it's an incomparable feeling of being able to step into a virtual world that is really thoroughly and deeply rendered. And I think having it feel sprawling and being able to like walk across it and see the landscape slowly, gradually change and feel different biomes have their own like unique flora and fauna and sound effects to go with them, it's an amazing feeling. Like coming up from playing like I don't know, Link's Awakening on the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color rather, and seeing the intro cutscene in color and being like, this is peak, man. This is the most advanced graphics that we're ever gonna have. I can't believe I'm living in this age, this golden age of like amazing video game graphics. And then, you know, just a few short years later, really being able to step into a place like Skyrim or Elden Ring and spend hundreds of hours and still not have seen everything, it's incredible. And I love it. And also, you know, there's a certain amount of time and certain amount of money that you have, and it's got to go somewhere. And so at a certain point, you have to triage. Either you triage or you do what Rockstar did, and you just like just actually destroy people's lives and like ruin their brains and death march them until they have literal panic attacks and have to leave work because they're in the hospital. And then you call them in the hospital and like try to peer pressure them to getting back to work. And threaten their livelihood and do all that abusive shit because, yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to get into that. At some point, I could tell you the full story of, like, I mean, it's all publicly available information, but I can kind of comment on it. Yeah, the Rockstar situation with the GTA 5, and then I think going into Red Dead 2, it's like, cool, if you have $10 billion and basically don't care about how you treat your employees, then you can get something like that, right? Anyway, what do you what do you think? It's enough for me. What do you think about them? Darth Magog says, "Oh man, I remember that," or "LOL, oh man, I remember that." Even Wind Waker looked wild. Yeah, oh my god, doing the full open ocean map felt larger than life. Yes, see that's the thing, right? Wind Waker actually had a pretty narrow scope when you think about it, because there's not all that much that happens on the wide open ocean, and it's almost like smoke and mirrors. Right? You can take all the individual islands, and if you put them next to each other, it would actually feel like the game is pretty small by comparison. But because they use the open ocean to give a sense of adventure, a sense of like transitioning between these spaces, and then added additional things like weather effects and little diversions like the pirate ships and the like little challenges that were kind of break things up, you really did feel like you were exploring a world, and that added so much. And all it was like a flat plane of water, you know, with occasional diversions, right? They got so much value out of just a relatively simple decision to space things out. And that can be really, really effective. I loved that. Even if there wasn't anything going on, I loved just being in the boat and just, you know, kind of watching the kind of the waves go by and like thinking about the next adventure and stuff like that. I was never bored ever when going between the islands in that game. Yes, absolutely. You will get plenty of Wind Waker love in this economy. Rathmeka says, I love that game so much. Yeah, it was a favorite of mine. I've spent so much time with it and I loved it. I'm going to pause real quick just so we can get back to the adventure. I have to figure out what I want to upgrade. I guess I don't have to do it all right now. But Sekarum is a higher power and higher scaling overall, but it doesn't start you off in Virtuous Stance. So I think I would probably rather upgrade this. And yeah, let's try that. in virtual, yeah, and then like getting it up to level 10, having access to that stuff seems cool. I do wonder though, there was a previous point at which we went through combat, and then when we came out, there was a bunch of weapons that are already upgraded for us automatically. So I hope I'm not wasting this, quote unquote. But let me try that. Yeah, see the little pressing down and holding on the upgrade weapon button there felt very satisfying. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting up to 302. Let's do that. I could still keep going, but I think I don't want to spend all of my stuff on Mael. I mean, I kind of do. I'm guessing that we're probably going to get a new weapon for her very quickly, so I'm going to save that. And as for her, plus 1 AP, 1 straight, that can be really good, actually. What else do we got? There's 124 at level 4. This is our best one yet, and I like the lightning element and all that, so yeah, let's keep upgrading this. Yes, please. Okay. Great. Right, cool. I think I found my goats. Dr. Magog says, honestly, I think my favorite game is just one with a good story and optional side quests like Star Wars, The Old Republic. Are you referring to like Knights of the Old Republic, or is there another Old Republic game that I'm just not aware of? I never finished KOTOR, but I remember, I think I would always get, like I always failed at the, whatever the racing section was, like you had to do some underground racing or something like that, and I can never do it, but I love the setup for that game. Have you ever played the Jedi Knight and Jedi Academy games? Back in the day, I used to play those a lot with a friend of mine in multiplayer, and then the campaigns as well. A lot of fond memories of those games. Oh, wait, hang on. I think I need to go talk to Mael in the other secret area first. Or the new area, rather. They're getting a lot of mileage out of that bird spline tech, which is cool. Oh, Dr. Magog says it's a sequel to Knights of the Old Republic. Oh, the MMO! That's right, that's right. I forgot about that. So, would you describe the Old Republic as sprawling, like you were saying before? Or does it feel like it has more of a more like focused approach? Oh, you love Jedi Outcast? Yeah, that's I have so many fond memories of that. Of just like shoving people off cliffs with force push and all that. Yeah, you destroyed 3 or 4 GameCube controllers playing that. Yeah, I don't blame you. Maybe you should. What?
Quoi?
C'est plus sûr au village.
Say for it. Oh, I see.
Tu voudrais que je laisse passer l'occasion de rencontrer et skier? Tu rêves?
Yeah, so I'm glad we're sticking with the French translation. I do thank you, the commenter who suggested that we check out the English version as well. I did check it out on console, and I'm going to play it on my own as well. But I am enjoying like using my bare bones French knowledge to spot occasional differences. Like she said, "Tu rêves" instead of "no way," which means you dream. It basically means the same thing at the end of the day, right? But it's kind of cool to see. Maël.
Ça va. On reste ensemble.
I like how they actually animated like a mouth lip moving animation for Gustav, even though he just said if you're not aware, so obviously like facial animations take a very long time to do, even for like cartoons and stuff like that. If you ever watched the making of something like Smiling Friends or whatever, I saw this recently that like they have to go through, or Bluey, like I saw some like behind the scenes of Bluey recently, have to go through and like manually like hand draw in a huge library of facial poses and then sync it up to the audio by like switching them. This is really ominous and interesting. Switching them out like frame by frame, it just takes forever. And it pays off obviously, but yeah, when you have upwards of 50, 100,000 lines of dialogue, you're just not going to be able to do that without hiring a whole team of people just to do that all day for years, unless and then especially it's like it's brittle, because if the dialogue changes, it needs to get re-rendered or retimed or whatever, then you have to do everything again. It's a real like time sink. So there are tools like Face Effects, which basically let you feed in a collection of lines of audio, and then they will spit out a bunch of procedurally generated animations, and then you can kind of tweak them and time them and refine them, but it gets you like over halfway there and saves you a million years worth of time. If you're ever playing a video game and you see a cutscene and the facial animations are like fantastic, and then you talk to some random NPC in town and they just have like a corkboard face essentially, it's probably because they've switched from procedurally generated animations, or to procedurally generated animations from like hand-drawn ones, or like facial capture tech or something like that. Ideally, every single anim would be facial captured and then hand tweaked, but like again, time and money, right? So face effects actually and software like that is super useful, and nowadays they're getting better and better, and I'm sure they'll get even better with AI at like accommodating different languages and accents. That used to be a major pitfall, but I worked on a game that was taking place in India, and there was a bunch of different like local regional dialects that we wanted to support correctly, in addition to a cast of characters coming from different parts of the world and each having their own speech and stuff like that. So yeah, it's much better at like kind of responding to things from different dialects and then matching facial animations to that, which is really cool. Darth Maycock says, it feels a bit more focused. There are planets that just have a lot of nothing in the Old Republic, but the other ones are just packed. Cool, yeah. I think that makes sense. They need to kind of choose their battles and all that, so to speak, but that's cool. Saria says, I have so many fun memories shoving people. Yeah, feel free to clip that for the inevitable compilation of like John's waning sanity over the years. Darth Magog says they do it on Blue because the teachers that created it actually care about children, unlike there's fuckers at PragerU. 1000%. I will happily resume talking about Bluey. I adore that show. I think it does a great job of communicating some pretty complex topics to children while also just being genuinely like fun and engaging and fucking hilarious. Bingo is a delight. I mean, everybody's a delight in that show. Yeah, really well crafted.
J'arrive pas à le croire. J'avais fini par perdre espoir, mais vous avez tous survécu.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad that we have another cool character as part of our team, but I thought for sure she was dead sitting next to us when we first sat next to the corpse pile before we met Lune. I was positive that she was dead. I guess I'm thinking of somebody else. But also, she seems to be a little bit... It was very jarring just how quickly she kind of joined the party and everything felt normal. It's like, I know she was like hanging out with a village for a little while, so she had a chance to kind of recover and recenter, but still it felt like things were getting too normal too quickly. So very curious to see where things go with her.
Et quel était ton plan dans le cas contraire? Vivre comme championne chez les Gestrales jusqu'à ton gommage?
Je reconnais que ça avait le mérite d'être sympa. Alors oui, pourquoi pas.
Okay.
J'arrive pas à le croire.
Et quel était ton...
Je reconnais que ça avait le...
Okay, what about you? You got anything new to say?
Loco est fasciné par ton bras. Tes apprentis seraient extrêmement fiers d'apprendre qu'un gestral adore leur travail.
So I'm also curious to know about like how much do the people in the in Lumiere know about Gestral overall, and do they consider them basically friendly? It seems like there were kids like cosplaying as them, right? So I think they're generally regarded not as demonic or anything like that.
Oui, j'imagine qu'ils seraient fous de joie.
C'est vrai qu'ils ont fait de l'excellent travail en fabriquant ton bras. Tu as vraiment eu raison de leur confier cette
Oh, the
tâche.
kids designed his arm. That's an interesting detail.
Tu sais, quand tu subis une avalanche de tuiles.
I would love to know what the French idiom that he says there, because it was not about lemons, I don't think.
Et c'est clair que perdre un bras, c'en est une belle.
C'en est une belle. What's that?
Oui, mais c'est avec les tuiles qu'on fait les meilleurs toits.
Qu'on fait les meilleurs toits. Does that mean you make the best heads? That's a strange line of dialogue. Saria says, I'm glad PragerU ads aren't a thing anymore because I saw one when they were trying to explain slavery. Oh my fucking god. Slavery wasn't bad, and I was like, there's no way. Yeah, I heard Prager, I think, trying to explain to a kid that, like, if people that, what the fuck was it? It was like, capitalism must be like immune from criticism. It must be perfect. because nobody would ever buy or produce something that wasn't inherently valuable. So if people are buying something, it must be valuable. So like by definition, it's a system that only ever yields positive things, something like that. It was so fucking brain dead. It was so. I'm sorry, didn't mean to make the stream about this per se, but like, yeah, I can't stand that. It's literally like stomach churning. It makes me literally physically uncomfortable to watch that shit because it's just so malicious and weirdly manipulative. I hate that shit. And yeah, it's hard to believe they're real sometimes. Darth Mako says, "Lol, they said that in the Chris Columbus video too." Oh yeah, being a slave is better than being dead. Lol. Yeah, they're fucked up, man. I will say that they do provide a very valuable service, because they obviously have a long list of collaborators, and it is a shorthand litmus test or whatever you would call it to identify somebody who you should not fucking listen to. So if you go to their like featured collaborations or whatever, and you see like Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson or the Factual Feminist or whoever else, like just like these weird people with strange toxic takes on things. That's like, okay, cool, thank you for gathering them all in this one space so I know who to avoid. For the record, for folks not familiar with the Factual Feminist, I would not call her a feminist at all. What I remember seeing about her was actually some pretty pernicious anti-feminist rhetoric, so it's a misnomer in her name, just so you know. Here we go. The music coming in is beautiful. He writes about Gestal. He knows how happy his apprentices will be to learn that they exist. He hopes that one day his apprentices will read everything he wrote.
For those who come after.
Ah, it did it again. For whatever reason, that one line keeps switching back to English. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Trying to recruit the legendary Eski at Eski's Nest. He should be able to help cross the sea. Check up on the others. Oh, is this a rendered scene? I will say that all their like eye saccades and like visual, their eye movements in all scenes are really, really well done. They're so expressive. They do so much storytelling.
Ça va? T'es bien calme depuis tout à l'heure.
Ouais, pardon. Quelques mauvais souvenirs.
Je vois. Tu veux en parler?
Non.
Je comprends.
Je suis heureuse que tu sois là.
Jamais je n'aurais abandonné un membre de l'Aquaferme 3.
Ah, l'Aquaferme 3.
L'Aquaferme 3.
C'était il y a si longtemps. Sophie et toi, vous étiez vraiment inséparables sur ce projet.
Oui, c'est vrai.
C'était un bon projet. Il a permis de nourrir tellement de gens. Ça me rend nostalgique rien que d'y penser. On croyait vraiment faire une différence à l'époque.
Mais c'est ce qu'on essaie encore de faire, non?
Ouais. Bien sûr.
It's a very intense look.
Ouais.
That felt really, really nice. It feels like there's some tension between them that's creating a bit of a wall, but they're kind of like poking at each other through the wall and like trying to reestablish a connection despite the like emotional barriers that they have, which is something that we've seen with some of the other characters too. I think the game does a really good job of depicting that. Interesting, I guess it's not surprising, but like now that I'm in camp, I am not able to switch to the other characters, which is kind of reinforcing Gustav as the protagonist as opposed to... It's interesting that that's the case in camp as opposed to outside of camp. You can basically sort of roleplay whoever you want as the protagonist by assuming control. What is that? What's that game that's like assuming direct control? I remember, was that Mass Effect or something? Anyway. Darth Magog says, do you have a favorite game genre? Very interesting question. I don't know that I can answer it in a straightforward way. I would just say Souls-likes, probably, because that's the series that has most inspired me and I've spent the most amount of time on. One sec, I will answer in just a second.
Et Esquier. Les récits sont vrais.
Vous ne sentez pas...
Whoa. Hello?
Des cheveux blancs. Qui êtes-vous?
Alicia, je t'avais dit de rester à la maison. Il n'est pas bon pour toi de voir ça. Oui, je comprends. C'est sa faute. Et elle n'en a pas conscience. Mais tu ne devrais pas être ici.
Qu'est-ce que vous racontez? Qu'est-ce qui est ma faute? Qui êtes-vous?
Tu n'aurais jamais dû venir. Tu ne vas faire qu'aggraver les choses. Pour tout le monde. Retourne à Lumière avec tes amis. Laisse-les vivre leur dernière année. En paix. Ceci sera ton seul avertissement.
Whoa.
J'ai si hâte de voir.
Maël?
Hey,
Hey.
C'était lui. Je l'ai vu. L'homme aux cheveux blancs. Et cette femme.
Attends, mais
Qu'est-ce
de
que tu
quoi
as
tu
vu?
parles?
Maël, respire. Calme-toi. Qu'est-ce que tu as vu? Réfléchis. Le moindre détail peut être important.
Il a dit qu'on devait rentrer chez nous. Et que tout était ma faute. Et qu'à cause de moi, les choses vont empirer. Pour tout le monde. Vous étiez tous figés. Et je pouvais pas. C'était comme dans un cauchemar
Ça va
réveillé.
aller. Ça va aller.
Et
C'est
quoi
fini.
d'autre? Tu as dit qu'il y avait une femme.
Lune, pas maintenant.
Elle avait un masque.
Je sais que c'est dur, mais concentre-toi. D'accord? Tant que c'est encore frais.
Lune, on verra ça demain. Hé, respire. Écoute ma voix. Tu risques rien, on est là. D'accord? C'est fini.
Wow, that was awesome. I admit, little tooltip on the... Yeah, so the transition out of there with the little thing on the bottom left was kind of abrupt. But, yeah, so I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm guessing you probably did, but, like, the moment that they entered into the, like, old-timey world, the borders of the fucking screen
Sans mieux?
were... Wait, where's the other guy?
On en reparlera en chemin. Allons vers l'est. C'est là que se trouve le nid d'Esquier.
Okay, so I can actually change to arbitrary party members. Weird that it's not loading everybody. But yeah, they actually like hemmed in the borders of the screen and like changed the resolution so that it looked more like an old movie, and it also made everything seem like more focused and claustrophobic. I can't think of a single game that I've ever seen do something like that. Like, obviously there's the letterboxing and cutscenes that everybody does to make things feel more cinematic or something, but that almost like kind of fakes a wider resolution, never a narrower one. That was so cool. and it fit perfectly with like the blanching out of the colors and everything. Again, the characters were doing so much storytelling just with their eye movements, which were really, really well done again. And then it was cool to see how Mael kind of got into fight mode, so to speak, right? She was obviously intimidated by what was happening, but she still held her ground, and she was prepared to fight and not back down. And then once the scene was over and she was back safe, like, all of the fear kind of came tumbling out all at once, and she didn't, I guess you could say she broke down. I don't know if that's a little too harsh, but they gave her a moment to show off her bravery, and then also to show the vulnerability after the fact, which I feel like is a very human thing, and it just felt very mature. It felt like a great way of conveying the intensity of the scene while letting the characters also breathe, if that makes sense. Very, very well done. I love that cutscene. So to answer your question, Darth Magog, yeah, I don't necessarily have one particularly favorite one, except I will say that the Souls games in particular, and Souls likes, I think they hit the mark so well on so many fronts. They are so consistently well done in terms of crafting their world experience and having the experience of exploring the world be tied in. Ooh, this looks nice actually. I don't have enough. What the hell? Oh, I already bought them before. Having every part of the game kind of be like tied in together. So, Dark Souls 1 actually permanently changed the way that I look at video games, because this is gonna sound silly, but I didn't realize that if you picked up an item in the video game, there's the next thing I think, or if you fought an enemy, that you could actually learn something about the game world based on the item or the enemy's placement. Because for most games that I played up until that point, like, they would just have a roster of enemies, and they would kind of put the enemies wherever they were needed. I'm just exploring before we go to the next place. But, you know, there wouldn't really be that much thought to it in a lot of games. It would just kind of be like, yeah, we need, like, think about Skyrim. Like obviously, not to dig on Skyrim all day, but obviously, like, you'll have bandits in bandit camps, and you'll have, you know, draugrs in tombs and stuff like that. But there's a lot of enemies that just kind of wind up getting used in a variety of different places, and there's not so much in terms of like bespoke storytelling for that. It feels like, of course, you're going to find an enemy here, so they put an enemy here, and then you're going to get some loot, so here's some loot, you know. Dark Souls 1 was the first game that I played where every single enemy and every single bit of loot and everything felt deliberately chosen to tell the story, to be part of the storytelling rather. And it also combines the sort of like in-depth world exploration and immersion that I like without getting quite as broad and quite as like I don't know, expansive as something like an open world game. I think it's kind of a happy medium between those things. The combat always feels great without, especially in the older games, without feeling like too overwhelming, like you have to be some kind of a perfect master of like dexterity, although that's in order to win, although that's changed over the years. You know, Sekiro and Elden Ring have become more micro intensive, I guess you could say. But yeah, that would probably be it. I also really like horror games. I've become a real softie in my later years, and so like I tried to play the recent Silent Hill 2 remake, and I just wasn't able to get through it. It like scared the shit out of me. But I still really liked the part that I did play through. But anyway, enough about me. How about you? Do you have a favorite genre? Is there one that you particularly find more compelling? Darth Magog also says, fair enough. Also, I think I don't know is a perfectly valid question to an answer like that. Yeah, or answer to a question like that. Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes you don't need to just have one favorite, right? It can be like more an overall experience that you like. Kind of like in music, I don't have a favorite genre of music, but if it's loud and feels passionate and like the people who made it care about something and want you to know what they care about, like really loudly, I'm gonna like it in all likelihood. Let's see. Sorry says this scene, yeah, the support system. Yes, I forgot to mention that they did a really great job of kind of shepherding her through that. Yes, the game is on Steam, as Saria has mentioned. It's called Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And yeah, I hope you check it out. If you do, let me know what you think. Oh, wait, hang on a second, listening to the soundtrack. Dun, 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 dun. I love it. They have like a techno remix almost of the Lumiere theme. What is this place? Yeah, thanks, asshole. I hadn't noticed. Oh, cool. Alright. I already reached the end, and he's a master at crafting swimsuits. And I desperately need a new swimsuit. Okay. If you ever manage, he'll probably reward you greatly. Right, it's over there. He's one ugly mate. Enjoy failing. I feel like that. I need that on a t-shirt or something. Enjoy failing. I was not ready for how fucking funny this game was going to be. That being said, I also absolutely suck at well, as you can see, at like platforming shit, so I probably won't spend too much time here if I don't do super well. Oh, he wants me to go over here? I see. Okay. Gotcha. Great, okay. Off to a good start. Darth Magog says, honestly, I like a good party game. Super Smash Bros. Is my favorite game in the Magog household, right up there with Pokemon and Mario Kart. Yeah, those are great choices. Okay, I'm gonna give this like 5 minutes. Yeah, those are great choices for sure. How do you feel about the roster of, like how the roster of the Smash games has expanded over time? Do you think it's overall been a positive thing? Hang on. Okay, there's no way I'm doing this on stream because I'm just gonna fucking get stuck at this. Oh, okay, good, there's mandling. Alright. Alright. Oh, come on. Okay, I will say this, you could say I'm coping, but I will say this feels like this game was not really designed for this. The geometry around the whatchamacallit, the collision, basically the like solid part of this object that lets you walk on it feels like that felt really weird. I get that this is just like a little bonus mode, but it doesn't really feel like this game was designed for this sort of thing. God damn it. Okay, I got this. Prospect gamer. Playing video games for, like, longer than I care to admit out loud. I beat Millennia, I can do this. Okay. Alright, okay. Okay, let's go carefully here, carefully. It's also kind of feels like a little bit of a joke, right? That this is something that a developer put in because they were having fun, and then so there's a story, apocryphal perhaps, about Dark Souls 1. If you're familiar with the character Guinevere, you'll know she has big boobs, and they are quite prominent and visible, which sort of fits her role as like a supposed like fertility goddess or a mother goddess figure and all that. It doesn't feel like creepy per se to me anyway. But apparently Miyazaki, the game's director, came across one of his artists who had been designing the character and saw the design and was like, no, this is too ridiculous, this is goofy, you need to get rid of this. And then the developer was like, but I like her this way, she looks good this way, please. And then he was like, he didn't want to break the developer's heart. So basically we just had one developer who was a big fan of the large breasts and advocated for their inclusion. We can thank that developer for Guinevere's current inclusion. I knew that was gonna happen. God damn it. Okay, I'll try one more time, and we're leaving. Goodbye. If you guys are like, you really want to see me suffer through that, I will try, but I feel like I should probably do that off stream because otherwise I'm gonna start throwing things. Yeah, I don't know what to feel about that, honestly. I guess it's cool to have a little diversion. But one of the things I'm curious how I will feel about by the end of the game is this game does seem to have a little bit of tonal inconsistency. It is genuinely really funny sometimes and genuinely really heartbreaking sometimes, and often having that dynamic range is very important in like getting an emotional reaction out of your players, because if you turn up loud music to a point where it feels like almost a little too loud, and then you listen to it for like 10 or 15 minutes, it just will not psychologically feel as loud to you anymore. Your brain habituates to, I think I came here before, yeah. Your brain will gradually habituate to the level of the sound, like in a psychological way. And after that, in order to get the same sensation of loudness, you'll need to bump it up a little bit more. So similarly, if the entire game is just constant, like, dourness and sadness and blood and guts and gore, with no reprieve, with no pause, eventually you'll start to get used to it. Is one way of looking at it, and is probably true for a lot of people. I think there's an argument to be made that, like, you could still have a compelling experience that never ever wavers from a given aesthetic or given palette or whatever, but you run the risk of just fatiguing your players, and then like you miss out on the opportunity to set them up for an emotional gut punch later on. So by giving them a little breather. So I think it makes more sense to have that variation. But for me, sometimes it feels like it's being very silly and very playful and very colorful for a long period of time, such that we're almost like forgetting about the dourness of the intro area. And I don't really need the haircut, honestly. And I really, really liked that, and so I'm hoping that we'll get back to that, yeah, we need the booby lady. She is actually like a very important part of the storytelling of the game. So, and the game would be very different without her. So, Dr. Magog said before, overall good stuff, too many Fire Emblem characters. Yeah, isn't like there's a whole meme about like, oh god, another blue-haired sword fighter or whatever. Or have you seen Video Game Donkey's video where he's like, a Byleth, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's favorite character, Byleth. It's like, I'm sure Byleth is a totally fine character, but after so many, anime sword fighters, or JRPG sword fighters, like it kind of gets fatiguing. But I'm sure like some people were super excited for each of those characters. Sorry says, you didn't ask me, but I say it's positive because Sora and Link are in the same game now. Oh, I didn't realize that. Sora is in Smash. That's awesome. And hello, friend. Your name is lying then. Get back to Sestro sometime soon. Pretty lost. Need to get to Sestro. You stay at our camp. Cool. Nice. Okay. Like, I'm kind of surprised at how quickly we went from, I know like CL has obviously been spending time with them and all that, so there's a reason for us to trust them, but like I feel like maybe we're trusting them a little too quickly, right? Like, this is still an area that nobody's ever come back from. Like, our entire party was mercilessly slaughtered. Well, nearly entire party was mercilessly slaughtered just very soon, recently. 1 second. Oh, weird. So it actually has removed multiple characters. 1 second. Okay. So yeah, I want her. I see. So when you switch to a given character as the leader, you can have a different party makeup associated with that leader. That's kind of cool. So hang on, if I set myself up with her, and then I go like, remove, it'll just be Mael on her own. And then if I go like this, it'll bring, oh, that is kind of cool. I really like that. If it's working how I think it is. Except, no, it's just kind of glitched out, I guess. Or something. Anyway, I want to make sure that Mael can be the leader, and then I want Lune and Ciel for now. Cool. Beautiful music, beautiful backgrounds. I love this. Feels like we stepped into another world, but it's still part of the same universe, if that makes sense. Like another planet almost. He's so cute, says Saria. I'd kidnap all the soldiers. It's nice to have one in the camp. I just, I'm surprised that at least one of the party isn't being like, they're gonna murder me in my sleep or something. I love the mushrooms and the jellyfish, like, yeah. These stakes in the ground are also really interesting too. I'm wondering where they're gonna go with that. Kind of reminds me of the Cathedral of the Deep in Dark Souls 3. All the stakes everywhere. Yeah, at a certain point, it kind of becomes difficult to critique this, to comment on this game, because it's just like everything is so goddamn beautiful all the time. I kind of become a broken record. Like, I love this. This is great. This is smart. Hello, Taniso.
Golgra a dit de crier le mot de passe aussi fort que possible. Alors, Gustave, tu as du coffre?
Vraiment?
Allez, sois pas timide.
Dégage de là!
Jeez, tu pas qui va parino.
Non, c'est juste... C'est le mot de passe.
Pico femicola, gor grande bari
Oh
pommi,
no.
non affordito. Gomiku rapito sava.
Ah, je m'excuse, sincèrement. Golgra nous a dit que c'était le mot de passe.
Laisse. C'est un gestral. Il aura tout oublié dans 5 minutes.
Je suis désolé.
Ooh, that musical trill there was beautiful. Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, so I guess like I'm wondering about this, like genuinely. I don't have a concrete
Oh, génial.
concrete answer to this yet, but I'm feeling like, given how awful things were, it's a bit of tonal at that first scene, like how
C'est un
brutal,
avantage.
how dire, how dark things were when we first arrived to the island, that it feels like for a game to start with that and now be doing this and not have done that first thing for a long time feels weird to me. It's not necessarily a mistake or anything like that, but I wonder why they made that choice. I don't think it's because they don't know how to establish tone or whatever. Like, I don't think it's a problem. I think they're making the choice for a reason. And oh my fucking god, it's beautiful.
Qu'est-ce qui est censé se nourrir de lumière?
Tu vas bien, Maël?
Je sais pas trop. J'ai encore une sensation de... déjà vu.
La lumière ici, elle m'a l'air un peu...
Oh good, another one of you.
comment dire.
Yeah, so the scene itself is genuinely beautiful, genuinely like funny and charming and endearing. I guess these characters are, for the most part, having a pretty good day, and I thought they were going to be having an awful day. And I'm kind of, not that I want to see them suffer, but I'm kind of wondering if we're ever going to get back to that. But oh man, I love this. Okay, so this is great. I've been very curious to know what the deal is with these little, what I'm going to call like ink jars or paint jars or something like that. And now we're getting some more information, but the information is being doled out in an implicit way and kind of as part of a mystery. We're also learning something about, presumably, Eski as well. So that's really cool. Darth Mego says, hey, John, I gotta head out, sadly. Oh yeah, no worries. Give me a ping on Discord. DMs are open, my friend. Yeah, no worries. I'd be happy to connect on Discord. Thank you so much for stopping by and for the conversation. Hope you have a great night. Yeah, so, and now, okay, cool. This is great too, because we're seeing a little bit of extra smoke, like, of smoke coming out. And I feel like we're learning more about these objects that were almost given the appearance of environmental props, but now they're actually being granted a little bit more character and presence in the story. So this is really great. If you're not paying attention, you can actually just like dash past all this and it will probably just look like some sort of rock face. But no, here it is. So, and it's got those same glyphs over it that we saw previously. So yeah, this is great. The color palette as well feels like almost more modern, but it feels, I don't know, like psychedelic in a way. I also know that I left wait, hang on, I don't want to get too far in just yet. I also know that I left an item behind. I gotta remember to go back to it. They're doing some cool stuff with the soundtrack too, like playing some occasional, like little almost insectoid sounds in the background. Oh yeah, so I think it's probably okay to... Yeah, take care, Darth. Hope you have a great rest of your week. It's probably okay to kill these things, right? Oh, my aim is terrible tonight. But it's not doing anything anyway. I feel bad. I actually don't want to, like, kill the things in this game world, but last time it just sort of happened, and it seemed to work out. The sound design on this thing is so magical and expressive and cute and cool. I have a feeling that I'm not doing the right thing, but that's okay. I got in here. I'm really surprised there's nothing in here. Would have been a cool place to hide a little item. Wow, this place feels so vast and open. Oh, they're doing something really cool with the sound design in the background. Let me listen for a second. So there's something called HRTF in audio. HRTF stands for Head Related Transfer Function, and what an HRTF plugin will do is it will try to simulate the interaural time differences in your ears, which literally just means, like, you know, when a sound hits your head, there will be a very slight difference in the time that it arrives at your left ear versus your right ear, and those very, very small differences contribute to your sense of perception. Like, that's how you can tell whether a sound is coming from, like, above or below you, as well as left and right, but it really helps with above and below. Hey, I'm okay. Nice. Okay. So yeah, that's one of those things that is a useful tool, and it's used a lot for, like, VR stuff. But it sounded like what they were doing is they were applying something like an HRTF plugin to make some of the background sounds feel like they're kind of coming from above and around your ears. They could just be a coincidence, but I don't think so. I think they're quite literally fucking with your head by using that, and it's really, really cool. It makes the space feel like, again, like very psychedelic and magical. Let's see what we got going on over here. I don't actually know what his weaknesses are, so let me just try elemental. Nice, okay. Seem to be weaker to earth. Okay, maybe I should have picked a different character for this first one, but let's see. Medium physical damage, medium dark damage, 2 hits, applies 3 foretell and mark. Bad omen, low dark damage to all enemies. Okay, let's try this. Marking card. Whoa. Okay. Alright. Okay, that's something. High physical damage. If in virtuose, stay in virtuose. Yeah. I mean, I think we found a pretty good combo. I think we might have found something useful. Nice. Okay. Alright, so plus 1 AP per foretell consumed. I don't remember any of this shit. I'm just gonna fuck around. Low dark damage, consumes foretell to deal additional damage. Okay. And he has 3 foretell on him. Okay, so I want to stack up more foretell, I think. If no foretell applies, 5. Medium physical, okay. Rush, I think I'm just going to keep going with marking card, honestly. That seems really effective. Okay. And Nice. And she's getting the healing from the basic attacks as well. Damn it. Too early, I think. That was a really cool attack that it did. I think Lune also got an extra attack. So I was kind of perceiving that she was not having enough AP per round, but I think that's because she's actually getting more attacks, right? So she's turning through more stuff. How many do I have right now? 4. Okay, yeah, let's try Ice Lance. Let's see how well that does. Nice, okay. That was great. I guess she just needs to do... whoa! That was a lot of damage for a physical. That's great. Okay, we're getting real strong here. Low fire damage. Let's see, I'm in stanceless now. Okay. Switches to virtual stance if the target is burning, so I can do this. Okay. And yeah, let's just do a basic attack. Okay. It was really hard to see when the incoming attacks were going to hit compared to the attacks that it was launching on its end. That's cool. I do quite like the idea of roving treasure chests, so to speak. So I like the fact that this was a puzzle that then kind of became a boss fight. That was pretty cool. Wasn't anything too advanced or anything, but then having the boss fight have the option to have it run away, or the treasure chest be escapable, so to speak, I think is a really smart choice. You know, it's kind of like an evolution or like an iteration on the mimic chest concept. Obviously, it doesn't like ambush you or anything like that, but you know, this something that they're doing in the sound design. They made the whole space feel like it's alive a little bit, because it has like this, you could have heard it just then, like a sort of pulsing, writhing kind of goopy element to it that feels very organic and alive to me. I just gotta figure out how the fuck I'm supposed to get up there. Because it's very clear, going back to the conversation before about, whoa, hello? Cool. Oh, is that like one of the aurora from outside that's just kind of clipping through? I think that's probably a bug. But that was cool. About like tone and stuff like that, I will say, I just went around a fucking circle. I will say that it seems pretty clear to me that they want you to feel like you're immersed in something really beautiful, and it will genuinely have moments that hit that are, I guess, dark or disturbing or otherwise like emotionally difficult or whatever, but that's not really the point. Like, they're not making disgusting things for the sake of disgusting you per se, or just being disgusting. When it happens, there's going to be a reason for it. It's going to be very deliberate, and they've demonstrated that they have an extremely broad like a set of brushes that they paint with, so to speak. So here's the thing. That's cool. I want to go over there. I'm guessing I have to go through the others area to get there. But let's try. Yeah, it looks like that'll be the hub area, I guess. Let's try down here. Should probably use a healing tonic. There we go. Or chroma elixir, excuse me. Right. Because things are probably about to get pretty messy over here. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, I went off the wrong side. Damn it. Okay, sorry. Right. Let me get back to it. So, here's the thing. Oh, sorry, I said the chroma. Yeah, I am collecting the chroma. Something that I think is interesting is that now that they've told us that those rungs in the wall were set up by a previous expedition, it seems to be implying the narrative that expedition also got this far in. Like, they made it here because they were the ones who set up the shit, right? So that is interesting to me. I wonder if they genuinely wanted us to understand, like, to get the impression.
Sympa.
Oh, interesting. To get the impression that the that expedition did actually make it all the way out here, or if we were supposed to just be like, this is an excuse for why. Hello, friend. For why these rungs are here. Just assume that somebody put them there. Don't think about it. This one is a little bit creepier than the other ones. Okay. Damn it! I wish I had the thing where if she breaks shields. No. Let's just do this then. Now let's have her do this. It'll be 4 attacks if I remember correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And let's see. Let's just try this to start off with. That did nothing. Although he has the shield on, so I'm not surprised. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have anything I can do yet. No problem. So, interesting question to consider as a sound designer or a musician. When you're creating the music for a character in an environment, which is more important? Do you create a theme for the character or a theme for the environment? Like, which one is more important? Like, right now, if you had to describe this battle that we're having to a friend, would you describe this battle as a fight against a mime that happens to be in the cave, or a cave fight with a mime in it, in other words? I'm bringing this up because right now what I'm hearing is the same kind of peppy accordion, almost like a tango sort of music that we've heard in other locations against other enemies and all that, but specifically I believe correlated or connected to this boss in the past. And to me, it fits the boss very well, but it doesn't fit the background environment. So I'm wondering, would it have been a better choice to have battle themes for each area and have that take precedence over each character? Like, obviously bosses get their own special theme, but like right now, should we not be hearing a cave battle piece of music as opposed to a battle against a mime sort of music? Like, which one is more important? Can I break its maybe not. Gonna see if I can hit the arm. Not sure. Okay. Anyway. Nice. Cool. Yeah. Doing pretty well. This feels very good. All the way up to 9 AP, so I can, yeah, just do this. I hope one of our characters actually still has a break ability. I think Dune does, but I'm not sure. Okay, increased damage for Earth Rising, slows, critical hits generate the corresponding stain, thunder damage. Oh, breaks. Okay. So if I do Thunderfall, it should add 2 more stains, and then I can break with Mayhem next turn. Nice. Okay. Cool. Yeah, and then I'll be able to break with that final attack. What about you? What are you doing? If I just keep on applying this.
J'ai vu ton avenir.
Shit. Oh damn. Okay. Well, so much for. Oh no, I survived. Wow, that was close. Okay. Actually, wasn't quite ready for it anyway. That's fine. Let's get some burn going. Okay. And she's... Oh, I'm silenced anyway. Okay. I guess since I'm silenced, I might as well have healing tint. She needs more defense. I was naive thinking that she would just be able to coast her way through the battles like that. don't know if this is doing me any good at this point. Focused foretell, medium physical damage, 1 hit applies to foretell. If no foretell... Okay. 5.
Il faut parer.
Nice. Okay, ready to break, so we should be able to come in with Loon. The break next time. I don't think she has a break, does she? Defenseless. No. Oh, wait. Flurry of Fury can actually break. My bad. Okay, but the target is burning, so let's get back to Virtuous. Nice. I do see the not the weakness, but the limitation of Mael at the moment. I think it's going to be that she kind of has to build up for a while before then exploding. So one of our other characters is going to need to spend more time with sustain and support in order to balance that out. But that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, let's see. I think this is the first time we've used Mayhem actually. Nice. Okay, that felt really good. Okay. Foretell. Oh, I see. So now that I don't know. I really need to, off screen I need to just learn more about her abilities, but I don't want to spoil anything either, so so he has 5 foretell. If I use this, he has 9. So if I build up a lot of stacks, then I can consume them all at once and perhaps destroy him like that. Let's see. Okay. I really need to get her to have fire back because fire damage is so good. So I guess actually I can just heal. Yeah, that's probably better. Keep her topped off a little bit. Yeah, that works. Cool. Okay, so gonna pretend like I know what this does and just say this applies even more foretell. Oh, this is the last turn that I'm getting 75% damage foretell and max foretell. Okay. So if that's the case, then maybe I should do this. Oh yeah, that consumes the foretell for extra damage. I think I'm understanding. There we go. Nice. She isn't doing all that much damage yet, but I haven't really explored her in great depth yet, so that's honestly not all that surprising. Oh, that was effective? Oh, because of the crit. Yeah, the crits are super useful. Nice. My elf for the clutch. This is how I treat... Sorry, says this is how I treat mimes when I see them, to be honest. This is typical French behavior. Yep. Has there ever been a mime that has not been, like, deeply and profoundly cursed? I like that the primary motivation for just kicking the shit out of these wooden abominations is just to then steal their clothes and I guess like you absorb their terrifying presence. I don't have the heart to remove the awesome ass expedition outfits at the moment, but that definitely seems to be part of the appeal. Sorry, it says finesse and grace. Is that what she's saying in French? I can make out some of what she's saying, but not all of it. I think I keep hearing her say like obéissez or obéissez-moi or something like that, which is just like obey me, right? She's basically saying bow to your queen. Here we go. This is like so beautifully designed. Again, like just talking about the principles that we mentioned before of creating visual interest and suggesting a path, but not having it be like super obvious and handholdy. This whole space feels that way. Feels like it's kind of inviting you to explore it and to get to know it better, but also not forcing your hand. Although I'd like to know how the fuck to get up there, but that can wait for a second. Let's see. We'll say that there are some collision issues on some of the rocks and stuff like that. Like my character seems to be pretty consistently just fucking bumping into things. This is really cool. It's obviously not quite affecting my character, but at the same time, very interesting that they decided to add like some like concentric circles and ripples here, which kind of makes me wonder if there's something underneath the surface. It doesn't look like anything's falling down. That's a little bit of mystery and tension there. I like that a lot. And the water also looks, I don't know if it's just because of the lighting in here or whatever, but it looks almost more like ink or paint as opposed to just regular water, which is really nice detail. Oh, sorry, it says, yes, LOL, I love it so much. Yeah, it's so good. Mael knows she's a badass, but she isn't annoying about it, and she's sweet, and I love her. She seems like such a wonderful character so far. I can totally understand why you love her so much. Whoa, hi. Oh, I thought there was his tongue. I thought that was kind of like the, what's his name? Adjudicator from Demon's Souls. It is really cool. Something that I always loved about the Souls games is like, 1 second, sorry. When I'm gonna pause for just 1 sec. When the Souls games start with something along the lines of yes, these are the 4 legendary people. These 4 people in particular. These specific motherfuckers. Definitely important. Definitely want to remember their names for later. You know, like that sort of thing. Where you have a general background knowledge or information about a character or part of the world or something like that, and then the mystery kind of builds over time, and then you get to see them in person and you're like, well, oh yeah, I remember this guy, that's cool, right? I feel like something similar is happening here with Esquie, or Esquie, is that how you say it? Parfait. I'm also just glad, honestly, like, I know this will be different if people don't play the English dub or don't play the French version, but I think this game is good because it's just introducing, well, you know what I was about to say is that, like, now more people will see the word lune written and will understand that it's meant to be pronounced lune, and that will be a good and a positive and exciting thing. But apparently what they'll actually learn is that it's meant to be pronounced lune. So I might have been mistaken about that. Lune in the Tsukiyome. I'm sorry for that. Okay. I saw something up there. I thought. Yeah, there. Can I not just, like, schwarp to that right now? No, I'm trying to get to that little handy-holdy thing. Or to the grapple point, but it won't let me. Okay. Come back later. I'll stop fucking around on the rocks over here. Yeah. I will say, like, the platforming thing before, that's another thing where I did feel like that, god damn it, it kind of broke my immersion for a little bit, because there was no narrative reason that I could tell why those rotating, twisting cogs or whatever would just be hovering in midair. That really did feel like it was just a prototype that somebody made, which is great. Like, I got my first, curse you, Lune. Yes, exactly. Well, that's why they put the mimes in here, to give us something to pummel when we're frustrated about the lunes and the Tsukiyomes.
Pas d'esquier.
1 second.
Bonjour, mes amis.
Hello, the best
Bonjour,
character.
mon ami.
Ciel.
Quoi? Je sais pas. Il a l'air sympa.
Oh, c'est toi. Bonjour, mon ami, la terrible nageuse. Tu es venue pour que je t'apprenne à nager?
Non. Je suis pas très à l'aise dans l'eau.
En fait, c'est un peu pour ça qu'on est venu. On doit traverser la mer. Tu peux nous aider?
Mon ami, pierre qui roule n'amasse pas mousse.
Pardon? Les histoires racontent qu'Esquier aime parler par énigme.
Comment ça?
Je comprends pas.
Nous devons absolument traverser la mer. Tu veux bien nous aider?
Vous êtes trop nombreux à transporter. Je suis fort, mais pas à ce point-là. J'ai besoin de Florie.
Qui est Florie?
Une de mes pierres.
Une pierre?
Oui. Florie m'aide à nager. Mais elle m'a été volée par mon ennemi juré. Celui dont chaque pas ébranle les fondations du monde, celui que l'on appelle François.
D'accord. Laisse-moi deviner. François se trouve sûrement au cœur d'un territoire infesté de névrons, c'est ça?
Oh non, il est juste à côté, là-bas.
Oh.
François est mon voisin.
Ah. Bon, j'imagine qu'on peut aller le voir.
Fantastique! Bonne chance, mes amis. Et ramenez-moi Floré, s'il vous plaît.
Tu sembles me connaître.
Oui,
Mais comment? Je ne comprends pas.
les hommes peuvent gravir des montagnes, mais trébuchent sur des cailloux.
D'accord.
I love this character. Sorry, did he say like bouge sur des cailloux? Obviously Caillou is the name of that kid in the like animated kid show, but does Caillou also mean like a little stone? Is his is his name making fun of his bald head? Is this like little stone head or something like that? But yeah, what a cool character. Really cool character design. I was not expecting it to sound like that for some reason. But you know, obviously the character is friendly, but there's something a little unnerving about him. I like the fact that they made him move so quickly. Like his hand gestures and everything are just so, they're very, very expressive, but they're also very quick. Like you get the impression that if this thing turns hostile, like you're in a lot of fucking trouble. As opposed to some of the other things that you come across that are, whoa, what the fuck? That are definitely imposing, but they also might look a little bulky, a little slow, like the initial guardians or the spear wielding, I forget what they were called, like those like soldier looking things. So that's really cool. And the design is obviously iconic as well. I wonder if it's based off of anything from French culture, or if it's an entirely new creation for this game. It seems to have some of the same glyphs on its banner there as it does, as some of the Gestral also do. So that's really interesting. Fantastic. Good luck, mes amis. Please bring Flory back to me. It's really interesting too, the phrases or the words that they choose to translate from, or to leave untranslated in French in the English version. It's really cool. But yeah. Francois is a reference? Okay, cool. I like that. I like sort of gradually piecing together the little bits of reference and lore and history and stuff like that. I wonder, I have an idea about maybe who it is, but we'll see. Oh, sorry. What is that? I'm hearing something interesting in this sound palette. Wait, hang on. Can I actually get to there now? I'm really okay. I'm not having good luck navigating with her for some reason. Okay, sorry, it says I'll let you figure that out. Okay, I'll do my best. Let's see if I can do this. Nope, not at all. Not even a little bit. Okay. So tonight is not going to be the platforming stream. That's fine. Let's go back up. Actually, haven't even been listening to the footstep sounds because I've just been gliding around all over the place. That is one thing I know I've said it before.
Plus je me pose de questions.
Ça va, Ciel?
Oui. Et ce qui est surprenant.
Okay, obviously it wants me to go up there, but wonder if there's anything I can do down here. No. Okay, that is something that I find disappointing. I don't always know what the best solution is, but this feels like a bug. This feels like a mistake to me. I understand that they don't want us to go there, but when the game has consistently trained us and even rewarded us for jumping off of cliffs and looking to explore the area underneath, including into water that looks just like this. Admittedly, this looks a little bit deeper. It feels inconsistent, and it feels like they're I don't know, inconsistent is probably the best word. It also, there's no like diegetic reason for there to be a barrier here for your character to do this, so to me it makes the space feel a little less believable. It's again though, it's one of those problems of game design where it's like I stand by what I said, and I think I am right, and it is the correct approach, and it should be fixed. And I'm very smart and cool, but also it's like a difficult problem to solve sometimes far more than you would think, because okay, if the game developers hadn't already put in a system for like making you respawn if you fall off a cliff or something like that, then they would need to make that system, and that's a whole fucking thing, right? And if they don't do that, well, they have to do something else, like putting up a barrier. What are they going to do? They're going to put a fence across the entire level? Okay, well then diegetically, narratively, who built that fence and why? And then what if you can jump over the fence? You know, it's like, it's one of those things where if you don't plan for it from the very beginning, it can actually be surprisingly difficult to fix later. And so I get it, right? It's not anything I would ever be like, and this is why this game is a dumb piece of shit, and you shouldn't, like, obviously not. But I do think that it's one of those things that should ideally be explored early on and try to solve it as quickly as possible, if you can, as a game developer. So let's give you some more defense, because right now you're just wilting immediately. Okay, skills. You have 5, still not ready to upgrade. What about you? You have 2, not ready yet. Not ready yet. And let's see, we'll have this over here. Deals medium fire damage to all enemies, applies 3 burn. And what else do we have? If we go up here, revives an ally. Oh, that could be very useful actually. Yeah, having that on standby might be useful. Although we haven't done that many revives so far. Deals increasingly high fire damage to all enemies every turn until Loon receives damage. Stuns. Oh, that's cool. This ability is just called Hell. Deals very higher damage that applies 5 burn per hit to all enemies. Deals self damage if failed. Okay, very cool. So I think I need to get Immolation back in the roster, and I think applies 2 more burns if the target is marked. And 3 burn, 1 hit. Okay, yeah, let's get this going, because I like where this is going. And let's see. So far, that's been useful. That's been useful. Healing Light's been useful. I mean, these are all useful, but realistically, I've been like not using this. So, especially since Thunderfall does random enemies as well. This will do random enemies as well. And, you know, I think for now I'm going to try going back to Immolation just because it seemed more consistent. Yeah. Feels kind of bad to leave that alone, but it does feel like burn is just going to be a very powerful solution here. Hello. This is definitely a safe area that nothing bad will happen in. I'm very curious to know what those elements are that they're working into the background. Oh, hi. Hello. Please don't kill me.
Y a rien ici.
Rien ici.
Qui ose entrer chez moi? On n'entre pas comme ça chez les gens sans frapper. C'est extrêmement mal élevé.
Est-ce que c'est toi, François? C'est
Hello.
juste une pierre qui parle.
Je pensais que c'était Florie, la pierre.
Une pierre? Je ne suis pas une pierre. Vous avez des cailloux dans les yeux. En tout cas, vous en avez à la place du cerveau. Vous voyez pas que je suis une tortue? Esquier! Arrête d'envoyer des brigands chez moi!
Cesse d'être aussi méchant. Ce sont de gentils humains.
Alors garde-les de ton côté de la caverne! Et vous dégagez de ma pelouse!
Oui, on va s'en aller. On est juste là pour Flory.
Alors en plus de rentrer sans frapper, vous venez pour me voler? Oh ma parole! Des humains, hein? Eh bien, il faudra me passer sur le corps! Ah!
Gustav's expression was so good. Like, are we seriously doing this? Okay. The music continues to just like constantly surprise in a positive way. I'm guessing I picked the worst time to fucking go for an immolation build, but okay. Alright, let's see. Last time... Okay. Applies 3 foretell and mark. Okay, versus... Consumes... Okay. 2 foretell if no foretell applies 5. So let's start with this. Okay.
Vas-y, essaie.
Let's try... What? Okay, then. Thanks. Thank you. Gonna charge up that. And I suppose I should go ahead and give you one of these. Okay. I'm scared. Damn it. I'm not giving up just yet. Let me see. Oh shit, I used the wrong attack. Okay. Well, I think at this point, I should just focus on reviving. Okay. Yeah, let's see what I can do. Okay. Making some progress. Okay, let's see if I can get this timing. Nice. There we go. Okay. Alright. Seems to have worked. So I'm in Virtuos right now. Low physical damage, one hit switches to Virtuos if bird is burning. I guess I'm not really... I guess, the problem with Virtuos is that if I don't already have Flurry engaged or ready to go, then I'm not really doing much except for the extra damage. So I guess I'll go for Spark, but it's not optimized. It's okay. Alright, let's see what I do now. So he has 5 foretell. What happens if I do this? Well, that works. That's pretty good. Grace and precision, yes.
Bon, mettons un terme à ces inepties. J'ai besoin d'aller dormir, comme une tortue.
50% increased damage on the first hit once per battle. That's okay, I guess.
Tout ça pour un petit caillou de rien du tout.
Oh, you know what? I think that will probably be useful for whatever that challenge was where we had to do like 9999 damage on the first turn or whatever. First hit.
Et ne revenez jamais.
François, qu'est-ce que tu as pris cher?
Je me vengerai. Je vous poursuivrai jusqu'au bout du monde.
Okay, buddy. Good luck with that.
Tu peux pas bouger.
Dégagez!
Sorry, do you know a game series called Golden Sun? I don't know if it was the case that the game was made by French developers, but whatever version I got on Game Boy was in French, and so I tried to play it through in French, and I think I understood most of it at the time. There was a line in there, like, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think if you go up to a ooh, the water's just so beautiful. Oh, what the hell? That's unfortunate. Not like disappearing there. If you go up to a whatchamacallit, a boulder, and you try to push it and you don't have a god with you that can successfully do so. Second.
Tu crois que c'est la peintresse qui les a créés aussi?
Qui veux-tu que ce soit d'autre?
Peut-être qu'ils viennent d'un autre monde.
was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, like, if you go up to heavy stone, you try to move it, and you don't have the character that helps you move it, it says, I think, tu ne peux pas le bousculer. Is that right? Meaning that you can't move it. And I'm pretty sure I heard one of these characters just now say something similar. I don't know if I imagined it, though. Oh, sorry, it says, yes, Golden Sun GBA, Isaac, my beloved. Okay, good. So, yeah, that was such an interesting game. I can only vaguely remember it, but I feel like there was some mechanic involving, like, training up and fusing gods or something like that. Like, you had almost like Pokemon, you had these deities that you would collect and that would fight with you. It was a really cool mechanic at the time. Okay, let's see, jumping. Please don't fall. Okay.
Sympa.
Jumping challenges and the like make me incredibly nervous. Don't know why. I absolutely adore the Souls games, obviously, and Elden Ring being one of them. But at this point, like, you couldn't pay me to go through the sequence at the end of the like the descent down to the Frenzy Flame, through all those fucking tombs and everything. It's a fucking nightmare. Like, I just will not do that shit again without a guide. Harder than Melania.
Vous avez trouvé Flory. Ce n'est pas Flory.
Quoi?
What?
Comment ça, c'est pas Flory?
Ah ah! Je n'ai jamais vu Flory. Ta pierre est toujours aux falaises de Rochevague.
Eh ben, il m'a bien...
Attends, tu ne comptes plus nous aider?
Si vous promettez de ramener Flory, alors on pourra être amis.
Tu ne peux pas nager sans Flory? On vient de te voir voler.
Oh, vous êtes bien trop lourd. Il me faut mes pierres.
Tes pierres?
Hélas, je les ai toutes perdues. Je peux faire bien plus que nager. Je peux voler dans l'espace. Avant, je volais tout le temps avec mon ami Verseau.
On t'aidera à trouver tes pierres.
Oh, c'est très gentil à vous.
Attends, François a parlé des falaises de Rochevague. Où sont-elles?
Oh, très très loin vers le nord. Dirigez-vous juste vers le grand 33. Ouh! Rejoins dehors! Aïe!
Okay, so he's a little stupid, but that's okay. I will say, I mean, like, the characters were all, like, all of them were always very charming, you know, but now that I'm spending some more time with them and seeing them in like react to stuff like this, I'm feeling like I don't know how to describe this. Like, when I was a kid and I would play stuff like Tales of Symphonia or you know, Grandia 2 or those like kind of classic RPGs, after a while you start to feel like almost like you're friends with the characters. Like, I know that sounds really silly or whatever, but they feel more like you feel more comfortable with them. Like, you start to expect their mannerisms and like anticipate how they're going to respond to different situations. Not like you're literally friends with the fictional character, but they feel like real tangible people that you have some kind of or how can I say, I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. Not literally tangible, like what's the word I'm trying to say? I don't know, I guess they're just good characters, right? Like, they're such compelling characters that you feel like you know them in some sort of weird parasocial way, I guess. I'm doing a really bad job explaining this. But now these aren't just like props anymore. These aren't just like characters that are reacting to incoming stimuli and that's it, you know, according to their script. They feel a little bit more alive, like their personalities seem more well defined, and it's really cool to see. Sorry, it says Gustav is so over it. Yeah, he's just like, I like that part of his personality. He's like, oh, okay. Sorry, it says, I get what you... Okay, you understand what I'm trying to say. They're just like, I could have just said they're really good characters and left it at that. But where's the fun in that?
Expédition
Ooh, okay, cool.
66. Marcel. Maudits soient tes foutus champignons esquiers. Évidemment que ton ami les a mangés sans le moindre problème, vu que t'avais oublié de nous dire qu'il est apparemment immortel. C'est le genre de détail qu'on est censé mentionner avant, non? Tu veux bien arrêter de pleurer en plus, esquier? C'est pas toi qui es sur le point de mourir, si je ne m'abuse. J'arrive pas à croire que ce soit la fin de notre expédition. Nous n'avons rien appris, rien accompli qui puisse aider les suivantes. Qu'est-ce qui m'a pris aussi de faire confiance à de la guimauve qui parle? Génial. Et voilà que je perds connaissance.
Interesting. I don't know if this was here before, but now we have 2 additional entries here for Julie and Simon. And those weren't there before, were they? Are these gonna be the characters that are the white-haired guy and the lady with the mask or something? I thought the white-haired guy was called Renoir, but I'm not sure. Weird. Maybe I'm probably just missing something. Yeah, that's that's kind of a darkly tragic little event over there. Kind of funny. There's a game called well, it makes me think of 2 things. One, almost looks like he threw up there. The first thing is, I just realized that we see a cooking pot, or like a pan rather, and we also see a tea kettle or something like that back at camp. But apart from those things, we don't actually ever see our characters eat, or at least we haven't yet, as far as I'm aware. So I'm wondering, like, their backpack and equipment or whatever, they don't really seem to have supplies. They don't really ever talk about being hungry or thirsty or like foraging. So that is one part of the world building. Like, I have this on my brain because I just like skimmed through the whole fucking Naruto series again, looking for examples of what characters look like when they're traveling and what sort of gear they bring and stuff like that. So maybe I'm overthinking it, but it is kind of strange that they haven't even like once mentioned what like survival here looks like from the standpoint of actually, you know, like the normal survivalist sorts of things that you have to think about, food and shelter or whatever. It's just kind of automatically taken care of when you also just realizing that like Maëlle is completely perfectly immaculate, whereas the other 2 characters in the background are grimy and bloody and all messed up, and she's like, yeah, get it together, guys, come on. Kind of cool. They have a couple of little broken shards there.
C'est un avantage.
Energizing start. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, the Pictos actually have health. Okay, that's part of the reason why Maëlle was so far ahead, because her Pictos were just much better. Okay. I feel like I actually learned that last time and then forgot about it and learned it all over again. Hello, friend. You still mad at me? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fuck with you like that. But yeah, I mean, like, so far this game has been consistently really, really, really funny. And so I'm wondering what they're gonna do with the tone of it overall. Oh, okay. Esquia can help you navigate impenetrable terrain to discover new areas on the continent. Okay, that's cool. Oh, he's like a party member? Call upon Esquia. Oh, okay, gotcha. Call upon Esquia anytime on the continent by pressing Rf. Esquia will help you move over difficult terrain. Find the other stones to improve Esquia's abilities. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of, that's really cool. So what that reminds me of is finding like something like the Grana Saber in Grandia or whatnot. And once you do, you have not just a fast travel system, but actually more options available to you in terms of traversal. So it's not just like, here's a free teleport over here. It's more like, now you can go further and see more of the world and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if I can like go over this shit. Can you walk over here? Nice. That's really cool. I like that. You just like belly flop. Kind of adorable. What happens if I start a fight? Does he... Okay, yeah. I'm guessing he's not with us in the fight. Yeah, okay. That's fine. And that guy doesn't have one. Okay. So, let's see. Oh man, I have to check the... So, what's really weird, it doesn't actually look like the... Okay, hang on a second. I want to experiment with something. I'm going to pause for 1 sec and try to... Oh wait, see if I can get my audio tweaked a little bit here. Just 1 second. So, filters. So, the ratio is there. I'm trying to reduce the sound of the combat music when I talk. If I do that, test. Okay, I have to look back at this later. I don't think it's working. Test. It should just like automatically duck when I speak. Maybe if I do this. Test. Oh, that seems to be working. It's the threshold. I see. Okay. So let me try this. Let me try 36. Test. Is it reducing? I think so. Okay. So 209 mark. Sorry for that. Hopefully that's not too disruptive. I will review this after the fact and see. Basically just trying to set it up so that we will be able to have like loud stuff happening when I'm not talking, but then have the volume reduced a bit when I am talking. So see if that helps. Note to self 209340. Okay, there we go. Back at it. Now let's see. That guy's ready to break. I already have 3 stands down. Cool. Oh my god.
J'ai vu ton avenir.
Sweet. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, I should probably have her switch out her Lumina real quick. Not to take a long time on it, but just to... Actually, I'll have CL do it since I'm just still having her learn stuff. What else do we have? Actually, most of the stuff that I would need is already learned. I guess. Energizing Start has not been learned yet. Roulette has not been learned yet. Okay, we'll do that. Also, I know that you're happy that your French culture is being represented, Saria. I also am excited that my cellist culture is being represented, so to speak, because I used to play cello a lot. It was kind of a big part of my life. I don't play it as much these days, but it's still something that is an instrument that I absolutely love and is a part of my history. So I'm glad that that we're getting more cello representation. Cello winds up kind of just being not all that present. Ooh, interesting. I don't know why that put you in the cat box, but okay. It's so beautiful.
Sympa.
Ooh, cool. 33 December. Interesting. Just gonna listen for a second. Whoa. I was not expecting that in the music. That was amazing. Yeah, her culture is winning. I didn't mean to end that quickly. Wow, the soundtrack, I gotta find who the composers are, because they're just doing some absolutely crazy stuff in a good way. I literally, it like positively jump scared me like when that happened. That's cute. I will say they could probably just like leave this stuff broken, because it makes it easier to know where you've what parts you've unlocked, but that's okay. Not a big deal. He's quite adorable in his own way. I will say that I think maybe that was a little bit too easy, because now, I mean, like, I get that I think him taking us on a trip somewhere, I think we've earned that for sure, but I don't know. Ooh, exciting. I don't know if we've really fully earned the right to just like summon him at the button press. You know, it feels like he's basically now almost like a servant to us, and I don't know if that's quite fair. It kind of feels like you know, in Skyrim, this is the Skyrim dunking stream apparently. In Skyrim, one of the first missions that you can get is to like help this random dude solve a relationship problem, like deliver a letter to somebody and see if somebody's cheating on him, something like that. And then if you go through with it, the quest reward that you get is that he will join your party, which means that he's going to one sec. He joins your party, which means that he will then go with you into dungeons and fight the undead and risk his life. And after you just did him like one favor. It's pretty bizarre. Oh, I got a mark on there. That's cool. Looks like the graphics are a little glitched out. So it's not like a big deal or anything, but it does feel a little strange that Eski is willing to do us quite a big favor based on just like slightly amusing him for a second, you know what I mean?
J'ai vu ton avenir.
Oh, I forgot about that. Damn it. Well, honestly, she's not the most prevalent party member right now, so... Nice. Okay, so... What happens if I do... Risky medium fire damage to all enemies, one hit? Okay, why is it risky? Damn, okay. That didn't seem very risky, it seemed to work out just fine. Nice. Cool. Damn it. That's tougher than I thought it would be. Okay. I'm gonna lose Virtuous, I guess. Oh well. Yeah. Damn it. Okay. I just gotta watch out for that first hit. This is probably gonna be like a multiple attempt. I need like a heal all party members type attack. Let's see. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Stenceless. Okay, let's get some more fire onto him. That seems to be decently effective. And yeah. Let's get some ice actually, because that will give us more stains from fire damage later. I'm probably gonna die though. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Damn, okay. Sorry, says Johnny's helping the gang for a reason. Remember the dialogue of Mael and Ciel from earlier? About him being like a legend? I think I'm missing something. Could you remind me, please? Sorry, I don't want to misrepresent him or anything like that. Let's see if I can do it with just Mael. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh well. Oh wait, Ciel is still inside. Send in reserve team. Sure. I didn't know you could do that. Cool. That's really cool. I was not expecting that. Nice. I don't think I've seen him with this new weapon yet. Okay, okay. Yourself's getting some work done. Already with the overcharge, that's awesome. Okay, let's see.
Pour ceux qui viendront après.
Nice. Okay. There we go. I don't know why I'm having more luck with Gustav this time around. Let's see. High lightning damage based on the amount of charges. Oh, that's what I did before. High lightning to all enemies. One hit can break if target is broken by the hit. Overcharge is fully charged. Let's see. That's just one hit, so I think we'll just keep going with the basic combo there. Lumiere Assault seems to be working just fine. Nice. I'm already charged up again. This is great. Okay. Damn it. Remember that Mael said she's feeling deja vu earlier when walking, and then he implies he already knows Ciel, who says she... Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Clearly I have a short attention span. Okay, let's see. Well, I think starting to... See what happens if I do this. Defenseless, okay. Now, does she have some AoE? Yes. Fire damage to all enemies. I don't think it's gonna work on the one on the right, but we'll see. Yeah, I botched it. Okay. So, can she get rid of that guy like this? I think because he's flying, I have to just keep on blasting him like that. So, I probably made a bad play over here. Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. Oh well. I'm learning. Figured out. Okay. Yeah, like fire attacks are just so I should give her a fire-based whatchamacallit? Shot. I forget what the technical term for that is. But this is great. So I actually already have 2 fire and a lightning and a colorless. So applies 2 more burns if marked. So wait, if I do this, then he's marked, and then I can do skills, and I can do immolation, and it will consume the ice and apply 2 more burns. Cool, okay. And if I go here with her, and I can actually switch to virtuous. I'm inoffensive, so I should do this. Some more burning, okay, nice. It's really hard to make out, like, at least for me anyway, when those globs are going to hit. It feels like it has different timing for different characters that it hits. But anyway. It's okay, we'll try again. The burning damage is gonna, like, carry. God. I will say at this point, like, I know I just need to practice and stop coping, but the parrying feels like it's such an essential part of the battle mechanics, and it's just like it's so easy to feel like you're you make a mistake and you don't know why, for lack of a better expression. Like for something that's that consistently crucial, I wish I had more feedback for it. Like I'm getting the hang of it, but so lightning is weakness. Do I have any more lightning stuff? Yeah. Can break, but it's not ready to break, so okay, let's try this. Okay, that did something. Getting closer to breaking. I'm in defensive now. I think I'll try that. Yeah, there we go. Virtuous. Alright. Try this again. Yeah, those are really tricky to parry for some reason. Okay, I'm getting really close to being able to break, so I think I'll play it safe and I'll use healing on her. Okay. And then I think since I'm already here, I might as well do this. And I'll be able to break. Oh, it actually did break on the third attack. That's great. Cool. Okay. Excellent. Okay, this is going better, but I have to keep consistent. Let's see. Low fire damage. Yes. And that's 2. Okay, great. Let's just keep the fire damage going. Excellent. No longer stunned. Okay. So I think I'll just have her use healing on herself, since she's not that active in the fight as of yet anyway. Skills, well, I'm in Virtuos, so we apply that stance and then charge up another attack. A nice powerful burst on the next attack. You know what, I'm gonna go in for healing tint on her as well. And then we're pretty much decent. Okay. Fuck me for being optimistic, Jesus. Alright, we can still do this, right? Totally know what I'm doing. Why would we need like our hard carry fucking to carry this? I think consumes fire to increase damage. Okay, so I probably want to just wait for Thunderfall, honestly. Screw it. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Okay, so that actually wasn't too bad, because the sound that was there's a very distinct audio cue that happened before each impact. It was like a little whistle that happened each time, and the timing of it was consistent. So once I got the first one, I felt like I could be reasonable about getting the rest of them. Heal self by 40% health. Use all foretell to increase heal. Okay. Nice, okay. That seems like it'll be pretty consistent, or like, pretty consistently helpful. Let's see. I think... yeah, let's just keep on doing this, because then we should have a full palette of fire for next time. Okay. Alright, can I actually do another one of those? No. What should we do? I'm gonna do something kind of risky, actually. No. Yeah. Yes. Okay, try that. And now, I'm going to try Yes. Okay, that did something. God damn it, are you serious? He's eating both of us at the same time? What the fuck am I supposed to do now? It's... Okay. I mean... I guess I can try to keep myself alive with this. It did something. I don't know this one. Okay. Okay, I guess I can just keep doing this. I might be able to survive with this. Okay, okay. That worked, that worked. You know what? I'm just gonna stick to this because it's keeping me alive. Okay, let's see if I can get this one. I think he starts with the head, won't it? Okay, okay. It's intense, but I'm figuring it out. Nice, okay. My asthma, I can do okay. Yeah, so the audio cues are definitely helping with that. Okay, now I'm at full health, so, or nearly at full health. So, what's the best thing I can do? Dark damage 2 health, 3 foretell, and mark. Let's try that. Ooh, nice. Okay, let's see if I can get through this. Yeah, okay. Now that I can hear those little tells like leading in, it's great. Okay, so I have max foretell. Okay, so let's see. Let's do 2 foretell. I think we're just gonna keep doing this. Ooh, nice. Okay. Nice. Okay, I think we got this. Do I have anything that can break? Dark damage to all damage, to all enemies rather. I don't think I have anything that can break yet, but this seems to be working just fine, so that's what we're gonna do. Nice. There we go. Cool. Sorry, it says went to grab a bunch of bread. What kind of bread did you get? Shit, now I have a bread craving. Bread is one of life's great joys, in my opinion. You know, when I was a kid, one of the things that I would do, I don't eat meat anymore, but I would have a baguette, I would have a some fontina cheese, and I would have specifically salami with finocchio. What's that in English? Fennel, I think it's called. And that combination of things would be all I would need for a meal sometimes. And it was just oh, Hawaiian rolls, oh my god, those are so good. I had to stop getting them because, like, if I have them in the house, they just, like, will not last. They're so delicious. You get the ones that are like the actual rolls, or the kind of like cube shaped little chunks. I don't know how to call them. Either way. Golteha. Cool. Oh, it's got an earth element to it. I don't think we have any earth element type things so far. Oh, hi little guy. What are you doing over here? Oh yeah, see, like, that Pictos went from level 3 to level 8. Damn, okay. I wish I understood why the, oh, creepy. Why the upgrades were happening that quickly. I'm not quite sure. It makes me wonder if I'm wasting my other resources to put into the upgrades, if I should just, like, wait until I have, battles, because, like, from 3 to 8, that's a lot. I just wish there was some kind of explanation. Maybe I missed it, though. I get the cube ones and eat whole packs too, Cesaria. Yeah, they're my favorite. What's really good too, this is like a total struggle meal, I guess, but when I'm not like I'm super crunchy or whatever, meaning like I'm working a lot of overtime or whatever, something I used to do would be I would just get like 4 of them, and I would kind of cut them in half, and I would get a little bit of peanut butter and put them in between the halves, or Nutella if I was feeling really fancy. And then I would put them in the microwave for like 20 seconds, so that they were just warm enough, and you know, it would be protein, fat, and carbohydrate, right? It would be everything that you needed in those little delightful bites, that would get me through like an hour of work or whatever. Nice. Okay, so I got a little collection of Gestral. That'll be fun. Nice to have a bit of a community going on at back at camp. Another really weird one is, I don't know why, but specifically, I'm gonna have to get some tomorrow. Now I'm saying this specifically, the wild berry Pop-Tarts. Ooh, shit, that's good. Wild berry Pop-Tarts with a diet Pepsi. I don't know why. It's such a weird random combination of things, but it's like, it must have been when I was a kid, I just had some kind of like a bad day and I had that food available, and it just cemented me. It was like a comfort food, and it just cemented itself in my mind as like, yep, eat this when you're sad. You will be slightly less sad. And you something like that. I don't know. Yeah, they're just really cute. Their voices are cute as well. Their design is really cool. I want to know more about them. I want to know more about their lore. I know this is where I'm supposed to go, but I want to do other side quests first. I will actually spend some time like optimizing the party next time. I would just prefer. I keep saying that, and then stuff keeps coming up over the course of the week. Yeah, so like, I guess on the one hand, what I was going to say is that I wish we didn't have to keep. I guess we didn't kind of wish that we wouldn't have to switch back to Esquire every single time we need to clear an area. But at the same time, if we only like ran through an area once, then destroying all the schmutz on the ground, and then never had to use them again, then that would mean our relationship with him would be less exciting. I suppose he would have less of a presence, right? So, ooh, interesting.
Voilà qui devrait aider.
That's good. Huh, I wonder what these names are referring to. Mutatal, Jeans, or Genet, Dieticon, San Giuliano, Bassignano. Is this supposed to be like the Arc de Triomphe or something like that? Loano, Millesimo, Dego, Bondovi. Hang on, I gotta look this up. No, actually, no, I'm not. I don't want to know. But there's the horse over there. It might be. I guess it would make sense. Yeah, hang on. I want to look it up. Very curious. L'Arc du Triomphe. It's not the same. Or maybe. No, it's not the same. It looks very similar though. Unless I'm just looking at the wrong pictures of it. That's cool. Very curious to learn if we ever find out who those names are, or if they're real, actual historical figures. That has to be like a real life monument that got swept up in the shattering or whatever it was called. Hello. Jumeliba. I gotta get the charming haircut. I can't say no to the charming haircut. Hang on a second. Where is his wardrobe? Over here. Let's see. See what you got going on. Wow, I actually have a lot of shit for him. I might not take that one. Does he actually have a fucking baguette on his back? Homage. That looks nice. I'm sticking with the expedition one for now, but let's see. Flowers. That's kind of cool. Really. Here's the charming hair god. The short hair god. That seems illegal. Let's go with charming. I don't really see the difference, but that's okay. Okay, let's get back on Esky. Yeah, I mean, like, I will say the transition between, like, Esky traversal and, or Esky traversal and regular traversal feels very natural, feels quick and simple. Another journal over here. It's always very satisfying to do the Metroid sort of thing where you're going back through an area with a new ability. Oh, am I going to be able to, like, fly up to stuff like that later on? There's a 33. Wow, it looks so much closer than it was before. Excuse me. Thank you.
Virgile, expédition 62. Eugène a été le premier à arriver à 100 créatures abattues, mais j'en suis déjà à 99. Je vais peut-être partir chasser en solo pour le rattraper. Non, j'entends un gros névron qui approche, et il compte double. Si je le tue vite, je passerai devant.
That's cool. I'm usually not a big fan of audio logs in games just because I think they wind up having, like, slowing you down, and oh, that's cool. We actually get the scoreboard over there. I guess they bit off more than they could chew though. But yeah, because usually it can kind of result in, like, you having to slow down and listen to something that's forcing you to listen to it as opposed to being able to just continue with the plot or whatever like you'd like. But if they're integrated well, they can be really nice. I feel like the ones here are short and to the point. They're interesting. This is the arena, right? And... or is it not? Yellow Harvest. And overall are very, you know, very satisfying without being too overbearing. You don't have to sit around for too long waiting for them to finish or anything like that. Let's see. That seems about right. As for you, I'm still not sure what to do with you just yet, but this seems okay for now. Okay, all good. As for skills, well, he has 5 points. Gonna save up. 3. Yep, saving up. As for her, still saving up. Still saving up. I admit it gets kind of like slightly annoying to, oh wait, sorry, to see the little, you can level up now, you have new skill points, check it out, you're gonna be so much cooler and awesomer, and then it's just like nobody can do anything because they're all waiting. Oh, I think, hang on, I forgot to give people their new weapons. So Gustav, excuse me. Oh shit, I didn't notice Eski there. Oh shit. Hey, hello, friend. That actually kind of scared me. How long has he been? How long has he been in the screens like that? Okay, so wow. Okay, that's a pretty big leap up. So some of the weapons actually scale on defense. That's cool, but this goes up to agility 26 from defense. Yeah. Okay, so obviously that's better. 349. What about Abyssacham? 330. Better vitality scaling, but I think this is probably going to be better for us for now. Do we have anything else? There was another... oh, I guess it was just those two that got updated, right? Yeah. Cialeson. I love that the names of every one of the weapons are great. I saw the rungs there. I'm just taking a look to see if there's anything else. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna double down on what I said before. I love the texture work and all the, like, kind of cracking and weathering in the stones. That looks really amazing. And those almost like organ pipe structures kind of coming out of the rocks like coral. I will say that I'm still gonna double down on my claim before that I'm actually gonna go edgier on it. I think that these climbing holds shouldn't be in the fucking game. I'm sorry, whoever implemented them. You did a good job. Like, you implemented them well. They're well constructed. They're well thought out. But like, there's no reason for this shit to be in the game. I shouldn't say shit. I'm sorry. There's no reason for this sort of thing to be in the game when you have a grappling hook. I feel like they're very rarely ever using the grappling hook. And they're much more often using these, and this is never going to be as interesting as a grappling hook. I'm sorry, especially like a turbo sci-fi grappling hook. And you have to worry about stuff like this too. Like, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. Okay, but I mean, look at her hands. They're not grabbing onto the actual metal. They're grabbing onto the collision of the object or something like that above the metal. It's just harder to QA stuff like this. Okay, now it is. Now she's grabbing onto it in the correct spot. But, you know, her legs have to do this, like, literal dance to find the right place to hang on to. I guess maybe it's just that one. It's not the whole system that's broken. This one's just, like, a little... Oh, yeah, okay. So it wasn't even... It was, like, that jump in particular just was a little bugged. It's not that big of a deal or anything. Yeah. So, oh, yeah. So it's a little off-center there. So there's just a slight offset. It's just a very slight cosmetic bug. It's not a big deal. But still, you know, what... I would genuinely be curious if you... Oh, cool.
Ce névron est grand comme la montagne.
Est-ce qu'il la mange?
If you did a survey of players, like you did some focus testing, and you asked them, you put them in front of like the same exact traversal section, and like this, right? And you said, okay, let the players climb up using those handholds. And then you gave them the same exact section, same narrative context, same part of the story and everything. But instead you said, now do this instead. How many players are like, no, I really want to go up the slow and clunky handholds like we've been doing since Uncharted 1? And how many players would be like, give me the fucking grappling hook, dude? You know? Hi, friend. Hello. You're so cool. I love you. I love that. I love this so much. Oh my god. Oh, I'm sure that guy's not going to be a problem. They've done such a great job at making the... Oh, this is probably going to be... I'm seeing some visual similarities to that creature that we found back in the first area that wanted us to give him a source of light or something like that. We'll need to backtrack. Look at that. Okay, they actually did a really, really good job rendering the water there. I don't know how they managed to pull it off, but it looks like the froth on it looks so real. It feels like almost like soft and gelatinous. It's so good. And look at all the little details too. There's like a thin layer of mist that's kind of hovering directly over the flowers. These things feel hard and soft at the same time. It's really difficult to describe, but yeah, each of these spaces feels very unique, and it feels like there are structures and things within them that are being used for multiple purposes or that have dual roles. Like, this doesn't feel like a literal flower. It feels like coral or something else, or almost like paper, but it does also feel like floral as well. Those structures over there, they feel like coral, but why would coral be here of all places? So it's sort of like a bush, and sort of like coral, and sort of like rock, and sort of like not. It's very interesting that the borders between form are kind of being pushed and stretched. It's a very, very cool approach, and something like this too, woven into what would otherwise seem to be just a piece of the background prop. Really, really smart and bold creative decisions that are being made here. Hi, friend. Well, I'm seeing something. Oh, right. I keep forgetting that the Nevrons are like a different class of creature to the Gestral. That actually makes sense now why they were more trusting of the Gestral, because they're not the same like class of creature. Although you being like blood red like that is a little concerning. So this is cool. I'm guessing this almost looks like a statue or like a piece of a monument that would have been that you might have seen alongside the one that we saw before with the writing all over it and all that, which means that I wonder if there are monuments here that have been sort of repurposed, and the Neverons or the Gestalt are working to turn them into new forms of art, like clay that they're resculpting or something. And the fact that it's been given what looks almost like a new face or a mask, and almost like a sort of parody of a head of hair, makes me think they also have a sense of humor. So it's very cool. Little fallen bridge here. The metal architecture kind of stands out. Looks like there was another expedition that came through here. Ah, now that's interesting, because we saw that same kind of structure, except all bloody and covered in gore when we first started. So that's okay. They're reminding us now, I think, that yes, we haven't been focusing and emphasizing the gore so much, but it's still there. Like, all the beauty that you're seeing, you might get swept up in it, you might get caught up in it, but remember where it comes from. Like, remember what the underlying problem of it is, or like source of it is, the root, the rotten roots of it, so to speak. So that's cool. That kind of helps, I think, to address my concerns before about tone. They're still putting things there. And also to kind of address my quote-unquote concerns about food. Like, we do have a campfire over here, and we do have a pot and as well as a pan over here. So we're not actually hearing the characters themselves talk that much about it, but we do see crates that are kind of packed up over here. So 1 second, sorry. So clearly there's been some thought that the expeditioners need to sustain themselves. They're not just like, you know, photosynthesizing or some shit like that. Wow, I love how foggy and misty it just got. It was very subtle, but very good. Probably wrap it up in about 10 minutes here, or nearing the 3-hour mark. I think that's a good stopping point. Ooh. Hello. Incredible. Yeah, and there's more of that statuary again. The range on the initiate battle thing is actually pretty wide. I gotta remember that. Oh yeah, they seem to have the same kind of aesthetic. Yeah, see what I mean? So now the battle music feels like it is an extension of the background music for this level, which to me feels much more compelling than just having the whatchamacallit. Like, I would much rather have this than just have like a theme of the mime that plays in every single level. I mean, ideally you would have like a mime leitmotif, and you would like run that in with the leitmotif of the enemies as well and combine them. But if you have a choice, I think I would go with the level overall. Okay, let's see. Damn, okay. Fire weakness, understood.
C'est parti.
Cool. Okay, so fire is going to be very helpful. Holy shit. Yeah, it's about time for me to quit. I forgot about the no damage bonus. That's great. I feel like those things add just like a little bit extra risk reward to, or how can I say, not risk reward. It's more like they add bonuses and incentives and make the combat feel more engaging. This looks like that fountain in is it Florence? I forget. It looks like that. It's a famous fountain in Italy that looks a lot like this. The way that it seems like you can kind of see like the metal underneath as well. It feels like it's being melted down almost. I find those structures in particular, they kind of look like moral mushrooms, to be very intriguing. Honestly, nice to just kind of get some consistent combat, because the combat system is a lot of fun. Let's see. Nice. Yep. Excellent. way over leveled for this. So that is one thing, like, is a very, very hard thing to do as a developer. I mean, like, honestly, I feel like I say that about most things. Game development is really hard, though. But I do kind of feel like there's a weird kind of fluctuation in the difficulty curve where I'm either, like, totally dominating or totally sucking. And sometimes it's only just a matter of figuring out how to parry. That is the difference between those two things. But now, like, I feel like I'm kind of steamrolling so far. Maybe that'll change later. Oh, damn, there's another one. Oh, that's so cool. His hand's kind of, like, hanging down, and then he's, like, covered in moss, or there's vines or whatnot that have kind of run off of him. So that's interesting, right? Like, as somebody who tries to make art, I feel like calling myself an artist is a little pretentious, but whatever. It's probably technically true. So one of the things that is really kind of daunting and intimidating is putting your art out there in the world, or, like, ever being done with it. I don't know how to get up there. Because, you know, once you, like, let something go, you never know how people are going to respond to it, if they're going to understand what you've been trying to put out, etc. And then you lose the ability to keep working on it, keep iterating on it. Obviously, it takes on a life of its own, and to a certain extent, it no longer belongs to you. So the paintress here seems to have, like, created a world that she has brought to life, you know, herself, presumably. But then also, like, initially it kind of seemed like a lot of the world was going to be static, because, like, the things floating in the air, you might expect them to have gravity or physics or whatever applied to them, so they're kind of floating gently or whatever. But that doesn't really seem to be the true for all of the things in the background. There's a lot about the painted world that is kind of static and feels like a finished, complete piece of work. But then there also seems to be this notion with some of the stuff that the paintress brought things to life that then, by definition, took on a life of their own and are changing, evolving, perhaps, like, even changing her work itself. So that's a really interesting thing to think about from an artist. Like, okay, I'm going to create a piece of art that is self-correcting and self-evolving, and it might then turn on me, and it might subvert my vision for it. A really interesting thing to think about. But also, like, if the paintress winds up being some sort of a deity, then that makes sense, right? Like, if you create creatures with free will and agency, then you are necessarily giving them the freedom to subvert you and potentially to harm you or to tear down your creation. Something that isn't really explored that much in media. Like, what happens when you let art go, you know? It's really, really cool. Now let's see. Wildfire it is. It's just so effective. Cool. I'm just taking a minute to listen to those cellos, man. You can tell the recording of the cellos too was really well done, because if you listen closely, you can hear the articulation of, like, the bow hairs on the strings up close. Like, it feels like it was recorded with a microphone that was, like, wide and open, and it was relatively close by and in a pretty small room. Like, you can kind of, I mean, that might not literally be the case, but that's how it feels overall. It feels like pretty close, like pretty intimate in a way, and you can hear the actual, like the bow digging in as it goes through those fast, like, really gives it a sense of like grit and weight. Now, obviously, the cello's always going to do that. It's a string instrument, it's a bowed instrument, but depending on the way it's recorded, and my voice cracked. Depending on the way it's recorded and mic'd and stuff like that, like you're going to hear more or less of that detail. And I think like having that fine detail is a great thing to have. This is probably going to be my last fight. I think I'm gonna head to bed after this, or like start winding down for the evening anyway. I'll head out after this, especially since we seem to be getting into a nice little rhythm here with the wildfires. Nice. It is really, really satisfying. And like the pillars of light that emanate from these things are really cool. And I'm still terrible at parrying. And there we go. It's really interesting visual effect there too. It almost looks like a school of fish made of paint or something. Okay, well, I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up for the evening. We're about at the 3-hour mark anyway, so that makes sense. Again, like, this game continues to impress and continues to be inspiring and beautiful. No real complaints. The only things that I noticed that were a little odd were, I think there was like a little glitch with the water at one point, and I got a couple of like narrative questions here or there, but I think it'll probably be resolved pretty soon. Really, really interesting stuff. I'm gonna keep playing next Thursday, keep making my way through it, taking our time with the game. Folks, if you have any other questions or concerns or things you're curious about in terms of like the game dev aspect of this series, please feel free to let me know. Please support the developers. They've done an amazing job at bringing this world to life. There's so much to learn from here as a developer, and there's also just so much to appreciate as a player as well. So highly encourage you to check it out if you have any interest, even remotely, in the subject matter and in this game world, or in this like aesthetic and all that. So with that all being said, as for our schedule, next Thursday we will come back and continue through Clair Obscur. On Sunday, we're doing another stream going over the geography of the Naruto world. This time we're going to be focusing a bit more on the overall like tactics and logistics of ninja travel between locations. Still kind of a response to Sage's video, but we're going to be branching off from that a little bit and just talking about the world building and how the geography of the Naruto universe is set up in a more holistic sense. I also have a short that I've started working on. I'm hoping to get it done within the next 2 weeks or so. So stay tuned for that. As always, any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to share, feel free to hit me up on the Discord. If you need a link to that, I'm happy to post it in the comments section. And in the meantime, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a great day.